You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
All right, we are rolling along here on Basically a Sports Show number 227. Special guest star Marla Gibbs tonight. Anybody get that reference?
No.
Of course not. I didn't figure. Anyway, here we are. We're going to start with hockey, correct?
Yeah, we got several things going on tonight. We got the draft on our TVs.
Yeah.
We have some hockey games being played. One pretty important hockey game starting in about an hour.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bruins Canadiens.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, let's start there, dude. What is up with your Ducks? You dropped the first two at home.
We dropped the first two at home, and honestly, the Ducks, I mean, I don't know how – you might think this is biased, but I honestly think the Ducks outplayed the Kings in the first two games.
I will just say this. I want to say F you to the sports gods for taking away what would have been a great storyline with Teemu Selanne scoring that game-winning goal. That would have been so incredibly awesome. If you don't have a horse,
the sports gods. Don't curse the sports gods. Curse Brian freaking Allen.
Okay.
Freaking idiot.
I curse you, Brian freaking Allen.
We're at the end of this game. There's a face-off in the Ducks zone. It's won right back to Allen. Just what you want, except he throws it into the chest of one of the freaking Kings. So he doesn't clear the zone on, when it's most important to clear the zone. And then then fast forward like 10 seconds later, Kings get a shot from the point. It's blocked. All right, good. We're going to get to it. Oh, wait, we don't get to it. Getzlaf can't get to it. They throw it in front of the net. Brian Allen just seemed to forget that he was supposed to cover the guy in the slot, Marian Gaborik. And so Allen deflects the puck onto Hiller and then bounces off of Hiller up in the air. Gaborik hits it out of the air. It bounces off the ice again and between Hiller's legs for the most it's a series of unfortunate events that could happen in a hockey play. And then it's a tie game. And we go into overtime. The Ducks had their chances. Corey Perry had an open net, and Alec Martinez stuck out a leg. And then everyone, again, floods the boards for whatever damn reason. And the puck squirts out to Anze Kopitar in the slot, who then finds Marian Gaborik on the backside, who banks it off the post, and then off Hiller, and then in the net. So game one.
I will just say this.
Game one was a lot of just shitty bounces.
It's
one of those things.
With the Blue, if Marian Gaborik was going to score like this, I wish he had remained in a Blue Jackets uniform to do it.
He leads the playoffs in goals scored.
Right. I'm just thinking how much, now there's obviously you can't say he would have played like this with Columbus, but I'm just thinking the way he's been playing in the playoffs right now, how much of a difference would that have made for the Blue Jackets if he put him in the same stats with them? I think it would have been awesome. But
I don't even remember what the Blue Jackets got for him. Matt Fratton?
A bag of hockey pucks?
I think it was Matt Fratton.
Did they get that what was his name, Jake Skilly or whatever? Did they get him for that deal?
Skilly? No.
Oh, okay.
He was from the Panthers.
All right. I don't know what they got either, but I guess they just decided.
I think it was Matt Fratton.
I don't think
either way he wasn't playing with the Jackets.
I don't think Gaborik wanted to be there anyway. So maybe everything's. I mean, given the opportunity, if I'm a hockey player, I'm probably going to L.A. over Columbus too, just for the weather, if nothing else. But anyway.
Yeah, and then game two. The problem was the Ducks probably had more chances, and they outplayed. I think they outplayed the Kings again, but they didn't get a whole lot of second chances. Quick made some amazing saves.
Yeah, he played great.
I'll give him those. But outside of like a couple plays early on in the game, the Ducks were shooting it right at his chest, right at his glove, and he was holding on to it. And they weren't really getting a lot of second waves. There was no traffic in front of the net. He was seeing every shot, and just sitting there, just sitting in the arena, it was so deflating because it's like, yeah, they have the puck, but they're not doing anything with it.
Speaking of sitting in the arena, Zach, how do you want to describe the fact? How do you want to address the fact that Anaheim fans apparently laid down and let Kings fans take over their rink?
I wouldn't say take over. it was probably about a third of the building was Kings fans. And the problem is when the Kings are winning, the Kings fans are an annoying bunch. They truly, truly are. I mean, I've been to a lot of arenas. I've seen a lot of games at the Pond with a lot of different fan bases, and the Kings are a boisterous bunch. I'll give them that much, but it sucks. And the thing that really pisses me off, like more than anything else, like fine, they're going to go to the game, okay, but the amount of season ticket holders that sold their tickets, like in my section, there's a lot of season ticket holders because we have pretty good seats. And those are seats that you want to hold on to, right? The problem was the entire, we sit in seats 5 and 6, and seats 1 through 4 in our row there's 2 sets of season ticket holders there. And apparently both of them sold both their tickets for both games because it was all Kings fans there in each of the first 2 games. And these are people that I see at every single game. They don't sell their tickets during the regular season. But when they see that, oh, well, I can make 2 or 3 times face value on these tickets, they sell them. And, when they come back in next year,
Are you going to have words with them when they come back?
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to think less of them. I thought they were pretty good fans. These are people that have sat next to us for several years now. They were people that I thought they were pretty decent, good fans that cared about the Ducks. And that's
to be fair, a friend of mine has Indians tickets. He has first row right behind home plate. Right. And how he finances those tickets is by selling to Yankees and Red Sox fans. He sells those seats, and that's how he finances every season. So I can't blame him. Because, that's an expensive – I imagine good seats for what, 40 NHL games, 41 games, that's not going to be cheap.
Right, I'm fine with that during the regular season, I guess. But in a situation like this, where you know that you're playing a team that's right up the road, you're playing a team that is known to send a lot of fans to the building, and sure, you're going to make a lot of money, but that's not the point of having season tickets. Well, having season tickets isn't to make money.
You still got to pay for them.
I know, but I understand this, Greg. But the point is, if that's not the reason you get season tickets, that's not why you get playoff tickets. You're not there to make money. You're there because you like hockey. You're there because you want to enjoy the game and you want to support the team, rather than get it run over by all these assholes in black and silver.
In La La Land, I'm sure. I don't mean that as a stupid derogatory term towards L.A. I mean, in the world of Pollyanna, your reasoning is sound. But to be honest about it, the money that you're going to make more money on playoff tickets if you're selling off your tickets to finance your season tickets. Obviously, the money is in the playoff tickets. But I get where you're coming from, and it's annoying, but. I would say something to him next year. I would. I'd be like, hey, what's the deal? You guys, you bail out on us during the playoffs, which is bad enough, but then you sell 4 seats to Kings fans? Come on.
Well, the other thing is I don't know if they sold them directly to them. There's no way to know that. I'm sure they probably just put them up on StubHub or the Ticket Exchange or what have you.
Right.
And I'm sure Kings fans went and bought them. But the fact of the matter is you still put your tickets up. Now, would I have an issue with it if the Ducks fans bought it? No. But I don't know. You know when you're playing in the first ever playoff series between these two teams, you know that there's going to be Kings fans in the building.
Yeah,
and they're going to try to buy tickets.
Yeah,
and even when it's the regular season, there's still a lot of them that show up because whether I like it or not, the Kings were here first, and a lot of the people that are hockey fans in Orange County before the Ducks came along 20 years ago. If they wanted to watch hockey or be a local hockey fan, they were Kings fans. And so there's still a lot down here. Or there's some people that are still do the stupid thing where they're like, no, I'm a fan of both.
It's possible.
It sucks. It sucks.
I take that bet.
If the Ducks had won both the games or won 1 or 2 games, it wouldn't be as bad. I'd be okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but it would sting a little less. But sitting there in the playoffs in your own building and just hearing boisterous cheers for the opposing team is really, especially when it's your blood rival now, it stings.
Now let's talk billboards.
like I told you, the Kings are just grade A assholes. Like,
oh, are you talking about those billboards that were the
Yeah.
pictures?
And the thing that, I mean, I don't know if I'm more pissed that the Kings are doing it or that the Ducks would never do anything like that. Like, they would never show a dethroned king. Or, hell, we used to be owned by Disney. Couldn't you show a video of Scar kicking Mufasa off the ledge?
No.
Saying, long live the king?
You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
That's awful. I mean, I'm saying, I'm not saying.
So putting a roast duck or a dog with a duck in its mouth on a billboard is okay?
Well, because that's not the Lion King, and it's not Mufasa. It's, come on. I mean, I'm
The King's mascot's a lion.
I was always a Scar fan myself. So.
Oh God, you guys are heartless bastards, both of you.
So you'd rather see.
You know what? Take something from King or from Game of Thrones, and one of those. I mean, somebody gets killed like every week, right?
Yeah, the problem is those are probably a little too vulgar to throw up on the. Like, I would love to
Joffrey bleeding from the eyes.
Right, I would love to see that. I would love to have. I would love to have the Hound and Arya saying "fuck the Kings," but you can't do that.
You could put like asterisk K the Kings.
No,
I know.
Here's
you brought something up on the boards that it was something about the family atmosphere. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but do you think that was actually is that actually a thing where the Ducks, even though they're no longer owned by Disney, still have that
mentality?
Yeah,
that family overly fan friendly mentality.
Yeah, because the amount of opposing fans that come into the pond and get nothing said to them, like, it's just over the years of having the Disney attitude in the building, it just it was never ingrained into the fans to be a hostile hockey environment.
Yeah.
It was always, we're here for fun and games and look, mascots and videos and cartoons.
And the Iceman cometh.
Oh, I'm glad that thing lasted all 10 minutes.
The Iceman?
Oh, the Iceman. Go
the alternate mascot of the Ducks.
There's a video of it on YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
Of the original Ducks opening night when they had this big Disney production with.
Oh yeah, I remember. I have seen this. I think I actually used it in one of our.
Made himself silver and was the Iceman.
I think I actually used it in one of the opens to the show months ago.
Yeah.
I will.
It just. I wish. It's not something that I can change overnight or even by myself, but I just wish that Ducks fans were more intense about it. Because I mean, it's the playoffs. Be mean to the opposing fans. Don't just let them walk in and and I will say without repercussion.
Two things I want to address that you brought up. First, the whole thing about being a fan of both. I almost said that was possible, and then I thought about it, and it's really not, because
it's not if it's a geographical rivalry, at least.
Well, and it's not even if they're in the same division, because I really thought that I could keep my Rangers fandom when the Jackets moved east, and I'm sorry, but it just didn't work. You can't if they're separated by conference. You can do it, but you can't be a Kings fan and a Ducks fan. That's like being a Penguins fan and a Flyers fan. You can't do it.
But that's the thing. What I'm saying, they're fans of both teams until they play the Kings, and then you're rooting for the Kings because they were Kings fans first.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a bunch of people there that are season ticket holders that are Kings fans when the Kings come in the building. But here's my other thing too: is I don't mind if opposing fans come into the building, especially when it's the Kings. I know they're going to be there. You can go to the game, you can root for your team, you can do all that, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. Like, you can go, you can root for your team, be ecstatic for your team, but you don't have to. Like, there were Kings fans yelling at children outside the game.
Oh God!
And
that's amazing.
And of course, before the game, I'm just walking through the hallway, and all these Kings fans, because they're all on one side of the building, they're all on the side where the Kings shoot twice. You'll just be sitting there. They're all standing in the churro line, and they're just getting "Go Kings, Go" chants going at every possible moment.
At the churro counter.
Churro line. At the churro line. I'm just trying to eat a churro, and they're being like.
I will just say this:
they're just relentless. Is what
I'm just imagining Oddball from the boards yelling at like a 10-year-old Ducks fan.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. Okay, the Kings fans that I'm aware of. All right, Oddball. Lights out. D-bad defense.
Adam Kings fan. LMU's a Kings fan. They're fine.
LMU's okay, but then you got Cujo. You know,
I don't know what Cujo is.
He claims he's a Kings fan, but I don't know if that's just a trolling thing or if he actually is. But, okay, we've mentioned 4 or 5 Kings fans that we know of, and at least 3 of them are complete douchebags. So maybe there's something to it.
No, it's definitely an attitude. Because the other thing is, like I mentioned with the way that the Ducks and Kings kind of run their game ops, like in the game.
Right.
When you go to Staples Center, they get the Addams Family chant going. So specifically, it's not so people can say "Go Kings." They go "Da-na-na-na, Ducks suck," "Da-na-na-na, or Sharks suck," "Stars suck." Whoever is in the building sucks. And whenever there's a goal scored on the organ, they go "Ba-na," so that people can get chanting the goalie's name. So Hiller,
oh God,
Anderson, whoever happens to be in net, and they show because the guys who made South Park, they live in Manhattan Beach, and so they eventually became Kings fans, and so they got them to do these videos with Cartman from South Park. And he walks up like, it's a cute little duck. Why don't I kick it in the face? And then he kicks the duck. And then, go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. And it's just, they put that sort of attitude forth. And, of course, their snarky-ass Twitter account, these stupid billboards that they say they have nothing to do with, by the way.
Okay, the Royal Mile is brilliant.
The Royal Mile?
Yeah, their Twitter account.
Is that their Twitter account?
Is that what they call it?
It was something. It's either that or it was like a Kings run social media
Royal
site.
Half.
The Royal Half, yeah.
Yeah, that's the preeminent Kings blog. They're a bunch of jackasses.
I find it hilarious.
Yeah, some of the times they're funny because.
Well, let's. You guys still there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was weird. Outside of you venting your spleen about the assholeness of Kings fans, let's talk about the series from a hockey perspective. The actual on the ice stuff.
Yeah.
How bad a shape? I mean, obviously they're down 2-0, and they've got to go on the road now. But you've watched both games. What do you think?
I think the Ducks are in this. It's a few bounces here, a few bounces there, and it could be 2-0. It could be 1-1. It's pretty much exactly how I thought this series was going to be. Extremely tight. Every game coming down to the last minute of the game. We're going into overtime. I assure you we're going to have more overtimes. And during the season, the Ducks were undefeated in Los Angeles. Whether it was the 2 games in Staples Center, whether it was the game at Dodger Stadium, they were undefeated in Los Angeles. So they're just as much as in this series as anybody else is. And the Kings should know more than anybody else that going up in a series doesn't exactly mean that you're running away with it just yet.
I'm just surprised because we talked about it last week, how the Kings had just, they reeled off those 4 straight to knock out the Sharks. And, we agreed that it was one of 2 things would happen. Either they were spent from that or they would be on a roll. And I don't know, man. But no, I think you guys get the win tonight. I think you'd be okay.
Well, I mean, the thing is, game 1, we were 7 seconds away from being up 1-0. And so if Brian Allen doesn't have a brain fart for the last 5 seconds of the game, then they clear the puck, or the puck doesn't get to the front of the net, all that sort of stuff. He doesn't get the shot off, or it doesn't bounce one way or the other because he hit it off the ice. If it bounces into Hiller rather than through Hiller, it's a 1-0 game. But that's hockey though, and really at this stage in the game, all the teams are good, so it's really just a couple mistakes or a bounce here or there, and that's what determines the game. So the Kings are a good team. The Ducks are a very good team. And, I mean the same thing about Game 2. Quick made some amazing saves. And if a couple of those pucks go through him rather than him getting a toe on it or whatever, then the Ducks are up 2-0 or it's 1-1. Or this series, even though it's 2-0 Kings, and the people in the media want to portray it as the Kings dominating the Ducks, it's not the case.
What I saw
very even, and it's a fairly even series despite the ledger.
What I saw, I only caught the probably the last from about halfway through the third period on of Game 1. But what I saw in Game 2 was basically that Jonathan Quick was just having a great night. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like a dominating performance by the Kings. The guy was just playing fantastic.
Yeah, I think the Ducks outshot him 36-20.
Right. So I don't know that I would say that they were dominated in any fashion. It was just that they had, their goalie was playing great, and then they got the bounces. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm surprised it's 2-0. I didn't think that this would be the case. I thought if anything, it would be 2-0 Ducks at this point. But like I said, I think you guys get the win tonight. You'll be okay. Yeah,
I mean, they obviously can't lose tonight because the Kings, all the teams, the Kings aren't going to let you come back for straight because they just did it themselves. But they're very capable of winning the next 2 games in LA and coming back to Game 5 all tied up. So.
Yeah, and then it's a completely different series. It's right back to square one again. But
this thing's still not going. It's still not going to be a sweep. I still don't think it's going to go 5. I think even if the Ducks lose tonight, I still think they would win the next 2 and at least force a 6. But,
I had Ducks in 5, so that's not going to happen now. Obviously,
no, it's not.
Unless the sports gods go back and go, you know what, Greg was right. We really screwed everybody with the Solani thing, so we're going to go back and retract that and give the Ducks the win. But I was just, obviously I would rather see the Ducks win because I want to keep the Stanley Cup here at basically a sports show. But, I just thought that would have been such a cool thing for him to get the game-winning goal because if I remember right, he hadn't played well in the playoffs. It's his last season, and I just thought, how cool would that have been?
And that was his first goal of the playoffs so far.
Yeah. So.
And it was all for naught.
The cheers for that goal were louder than the cheers for any other goal so far the postseason.
That's what I mean. It was really a great moment, and
I think I read somewhere where somebody was like, Gaborik came in, and I'm sure every single sports writer at that point, when it's 7 seconds left, I'm sure every single one of them had already typed out the first 2 paragraphs.
Yep.
With Teemu being the hero, but not the case.
And it was all for naught.
Yeah,
all for naught.
But
sad. In about a half hour, you're going to get live reaction to me either being jubilant or just if I go quiet for the second half of this podcast,
we'll know
you'll know what's happening.
I just want
you there. Yeah.
I just want to point out that when we did our picks for the second round last week, one of us said that the Pittsburgh Penguins would win this series over the Rangers in 5. And you guys went, really? And I said, oh, yeah. And it is now 3-1 Pittsburgh. So.
Oh, well.
I said Penguins in 6, so if the Rangers win the next game.
Oh, I thought both of you guys picked the Rangers.
I picked the Rangers.
Ah, well, okay. Then I guess I'm just.
And I am going to stick by that pick. The Rangers are going to. The comebacks in the making, just you see.
You really think so? I mean, seriously?
No, not seriously. But
okay.
I'm just going to stick to my guns anyway.
No,
I'm not going.
The thing for the Rangers is Lundqvist is playing out of his mind, but they can't score.
No,
I think they're 0 for 34 in the power play right now.
Yeah, but I saw
Martin St. Louis is invisible. Rick Nash is invisible. At the end of that game, Rick Nash was getting booed every single time he touched the puck. And you don't
Didn't McCarthy describe watching that game as like watching the 2011 Blue Jackets?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then, you look at who's on the team.
They're all there.
Yeah.
Like the Rangers, they made their bet. They traded with the Blue Jackets for 3 years, and they thought they were making themselves better. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait, they kept getting players from a terrible Blue Jackets team. Why did we think this was going to work?
And I said this last week, and I stand by it. And maybe, not for the entire season, but from February 1st on, the Blue Jackets were the better hockey team than the New York Rangers. I think if you watched, and we've all seen both teams play now, the Blue Jackets are the better team. So
could you imagine the Rangers right now, with the way Brandon Dubinsky played Sidney Crosby in the first round?
Yeah.
Could you imagine this series with Brandon Dubinsky still on the Rangers and playing Crosby like he did?
Well, too bad.
It'd be different. I mean, Crosby finally got on the board, too. He finally scored a goal.
Yeah, but...
One whole goal. Congratulations, Sidney. Constantly on your doorstep.
He's got 2 other goals that matter way more than
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have to put an expiration date on this, Mike. How long can you continue to use this before it becomes irrelevant?
As long as he keeps scoring in gold medal games in the Olympics.
Okay.
Those piss me off so much because he doesn't score any other time.
The entire tournament, he doesn't score.
And then he scores in the gold medal game. It somehow validates everything that anyone said about him.
Well,
it's like, no, he didn't score at all. He wasn't integral to that at all. It's like, well, they still won. But the game was 3-1. Yeah, but he scored the winner. No, Damn it!
But seriously, though, if Corey Perry was completely silent for a 7-game Stanley Cup final and then he scored the winner in OT, you'd probably go, hey, that's pretty cool, you know? No?
I'd still rag on him.
Okay.
I mean, he went completely scoreless in the series last year, and he hasn't scored a goal against the Kings yet. So.
But this Rangers team, I mean, they're just no fun to watch. And then,
there's no storylines there.
They don't realize they're in the playoffs.
And then you throw in that horrible Pittsburgh crowd, and it's not like watching playoff hockey. It's like you're watching a game that's taking place December the 15th.
Yep.
And, I mean, when you're making Marc-Andre Fleury back into a playoff god, which he never was at all.
Doesn't he have 2 straight shutouts right now?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Finally scored on him in the last game. But he went, I think, 8 periods without getting scored on?
Yep.
Or 7.5, something like that?
Yes. Yeah, I think 7.5, yeah.
But yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury pitching a 2-game plus shutout streak is inexcusable because, God damn it,
I mean, you saw the Blue Jacket series, right?
Yeah. Have you seen him in any other playoff series he's ever played in?
I know.
Well, that's the thing. This is the same guy that his team had 3-1 leads against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are not known as an offensive powerhouse, and they came back and won both those games.
Oh, they had a 4-0 lead and almost blew it.
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who, when he was the goalie for Team Canada in the World Juniors, scored on himself and cost Canada the gold medal game.
It's interesting, though, because somebody put forth a theory, because the Penguins are actually playing better defense in this series, too, is that when you put a team that doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in their goaltender, they're going to come back and play better defense, try to block more shots, and try to get in front of the net and block passing lanes and all that stuff. And, you know, to an extent, it's worked. And because Fleury's been fine, he's been better than he was, but he hasn't been stealing these games.
No, but you've just got an inept Rangers offense, and
if the Rangers could actually generate some offense, they might be in this series.
Well, it's interesting because I mentioned the Rangers are 0 for 34 in the power play.
Yeah.
They're second in playoff droughts, only to the 2007 Stanley Cup champion Anaheim Ducks, who went 0 for 36 on the power play at one point.
Well, yeah, I'd seen that listed somewhere that there were like 4.
Bruins went 0 for 30, I think. The Kings went 0 for like 28 when they won the Cup in the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's one key difference. This Rangers team's not going to win the Cup.
Right. And well, the differences here are that those other teams were phenomenal 5-on-5 and terrific at the penalty kill. And the other thing with the Rangers is when they're doing bad on the power plays, the Penguins are scoring right after that. I mean, how many times has someone gotten behind the Rangers' defense out of the penalty box and scored on a breakaway? I think that's 2 or 3 times now in the series.
Well, see, this brings us. Well, I'll wait till we get through the series. But I was listening to the BS report this week, and he had, or it was from last week, but he had John Hamm on, and they were talking about like this. I call it hockey ESP. Where you know, did you hear this one, Zach? You know what I'm talking about?
And when they were saying it, it's something that I've said for years. Like when I take people to games, you're watching the game and you couldn't put your finger on why.
Nope.
But like they're going to score.
It was like
they're going to score here in the next minute.
It was like with the Blue Jackets and the 2 games they won in overtime. It was like I just knew. Yeah. And with the Ducks, when they came back against Dallas in Game 6, I knew when they got that first goal, I'm like, they're going to win this. So you just know. And I knew watching the Jackets-Penguins series that there would be a stretch, and I'd be like, Pittsburgh's going to score. They're going to, it's just a matter of time. It's just weird. And I just wondered if you guys, obviously you understand it, Zach. Mike, do you have that, where you just know? You can't explain it for the life of you, but you just know it's going to happen?
Oh, yeah. Basically, every time PK Subban touches the puck in this Bruins Canadian series.
Yeah, right? Man.
Which is just hilarious given the reaction of Boston fans after Game 1. So,
well, that's something in and of itself. I think this is twice in the last 2-3 years where a black guy has scored a overtime winner in the playoffs against the Bruins. And Bruins fans on Twitter, of course, they've been just typing out roses.
Well, Boston. Go ahead, Mike.
And it's amazing considering who plays on their team this year. Oh, just a guy named Jerome Iginla.
Yeah, Jerome Iginla.
Yeah, but see, he is
they were also the team that broke the color barrier in the NHL, if you remember.
Yeah.
So That's also strange.
I think, but Boston's not known for its enlightenment
Tact.
when it comes to matters of race.
No, in fact, I think during the civil rights era, Martin Luther King Jr. said that Boston was just as bad as any small-time southern town when it came to segregation and racism.
I believe Malcolm X believed that Boston was about as bad as it could get, too. It's just, I want to say that they were the last team to integrate in baseball.
I think they mentioned it or on another podcast I listened to. They said I think they were like the fourth to last team to integrate.
In baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was in the late 50s, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was well after Jackie Robinson had come up to the Dodgers. But anyway,
yeah,
it's I don't know, man. You know, God, people, just what's wrong with people? I don't even know how to address it. But anyway,
there isn't. But it's the funny thing that came out of that was the press release that Cam Neely, the Bruins president, released.
Yeah.
Basically, word for word, the same exact press release he issued 2 years prior when Joel Ward scored for the Washington Capitals and not actually clinched the series at the time.
And that's the thing, Boston. It's like once, okay, fine, whatever, it happened. Twice, there's a pattern developing, and in Boston, we need to sit down and have a serious talk about things.
Yeah.
They're they're known for this, and it's terrible. It's 2014, and I don't know, too.
But it's probably one of the most beloved athletes in the city right now. David Ortiz.
That's what I mean. But see, that's the thing. I'm going to try to phrase this as delicately as I can. But Iginla, Ortiz, they belong to Boston, so they're okay. It's the other black guys. No, they're the problem. I mean, does that make sense? Without me going like too far down that road.
Yeah.
I get it. It doesn't make it
right. No, it's just I think that's the way they look at it. But I don't know. I feel bad for PK Subban because maybe he never reads it, maybe he doesn't. But still, the word's got to get back to him.
Oh, he knows.
And just how
I think he was asked about it after, and he deflected it because there's no right way for him to comment on that either. So.
No, instead, he just scored 2 goals in Game 2.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, no, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
is just keep scoring goals, which he's doing. Every time he winds up for a slap shot, it's just, especially on the power play. It's
for some reason Tuukka Rask just turns into like goddamn Swiss cheese whenever PK Subban winds up for a slap shot. Well, I don't know what it is.
I really like PK Subban. I like his attitude. I like his style of play.
But I have never seen a goalie as as solid as Tuukka Rask just suddenly turn to fluff when it comes to not even just PK Subban, but just like the Canadians. Like if you look at his numbers versus the Canadians, they are down compared to what he usually posts versus other teams.
Yeah.
Well, we want to.
Montreal's playing well, and I thought before the series that I thought Montreal was going to hang tough with them, and here we are. They hung tough all season, and it's a tie game, 0-0 going into the third there in the Garden. So we'll see how that.
No, it's in Montreal.
Yeah, this is in Montreal.
Right, sorry, the Montreal
the
Centre Bell.
Yeah. Oh, my dad for like years would complain, why don't they just call it like the Bell Forum?
Yeah, why don't they?
Because if you call it the Bell Forum, then people in everyday language are just going to call it the Forum, and then Bell loses out on the entire points of the naming rights. So
that's true. It's the same argument that people gave when instead of changing it to just like the Honda Pond,
yeah,
named it the Honda Center because I call it the pond.
I think everyone calls whoever the Sharks play the Shark Tank.
SAP Center, yeah.
Well,
for whatever reason, people started referring it this year as the Cage. Which
Why?
I guess on the outside it looks kind of like a cage. There's a lot of metal bars. One of the most like septic, that's not the right word. Septic, antiseptic. Arenas.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just the lights are really bright. Everything's painted white. It's kind of unsettling, really. I've been there twice, and I just don't like watching games up there.
But they have that awesome goal music.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they're stuck in, 1993 in my 1993 keyboard class.
Yeah, those keyboards are really rocking it.
Yeah.
Well, they got the Casio going there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Rocking the Casio.
All
They got
right.
the giant shark head.
Cool. So
Which, by the way,
Constantly
broke.
open, gasping for air for the
Which,
choking.
by the way, broke.
It broke?
Someone posted a picture, I think, of it was for Game 7 of the last series versus Los Angeles. And it was
that was after the game.
Oh, okay.
That was dismantling it for the season.
Oh, I thought it had broken pregame. I'm like, oh,
I
that's
wonder how Shark fans are doing this week. You think they've recovered at all?
I don't. Well, they haven't come out of hiding yet, so.
Do we want to talk about Chicago, Minnesota at all?
No.
I want to kind of just because games 1 and 2, Minnesota, it is what we think it is. Minnesota gets curb stomped by Chicago, but then we shift to Minnesota, and suddenly Chicago doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and Minnesota's putting on a clinic. So
I wish I could find. I wish I had it right in front of me. But Chicago, in this current iteration of the Chicago Blackhawks, their record in road game threes
Pretty bad, right?
When they're the higher seed, it is horrible.
Yeah.
It's like they go out of their way to not sweep a series. It's like, oh, we dominated the first 2 games. We're going to hang on to game 3. We're going to be fine. Get coach mad at us. We'll get motivated again. Win game 4 and win game 5 and go home.
Yeah, I don't think that this one, but Minnesota got to win. I wouldn't get too concerned if I were a Blackhawks fan, really.
I fully anticipate Chicago to win the next game.
But
if Minnesota wins the next game, then we might have issues. Then we
no,
have something to
if
talk
Minnesota
about.
wins the next game, we have to activate the Andy suicide watch.
Yeah, just these listless Blackhawks don't know what they're doing. They look like garbage, cardboard cutouts. Blah.
Yeah, the Blackhawks have kind of taken a heel turn a little bit, I think, in our beloved hockey thread.
It's just because people are tired of them already.
Yeah.
I can't. I got to be honest. I can't hate the Blackhawks. For one, because of the original 6 teams, Toronto's rivals are traditionally Detroit and Montreal, and Boston's kind of a recent thing. But there's never really been any bad blood of Chicago, and 2, I kind of just like their team, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with the Blackhawks.
I mean,
Honestly,
now, yeah. I mean, if we can't get the cup to stay here in the confines of the Bass compound, then I wouldn't mind seeing the Blackhawks come out of the West. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, at that point, it'd be the lesser of all the evils. Because I think.
Oh shit! Frederick Anderson was starting goal tonight for Anaheim.
Oh my God! Why are we? We're not panicking already. We're not panicking. I swear to God, we're not panicking.
Sounds like you're panicking a little bit.
Hiller played fine. Hiller played fine. Why are we changing goaltender?
What was the score in Game 2?
3-1.
Was
with
it
an
one
empty net?
Empty net, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was 2-1.
I'm not getting too concerned about that.
No.
The
goals he let up in Game 1 were one legitimate one weird bounce, and a second one that went off the post and off his back. So 2 weird bounces. Come on.
Could it be a health thing? Could he be?
I guess I would hope that would be the reason.
Yeah, because that seems like a little bit. I mean, I could see it if if this was a San Jose thing where the Kings where you'd gotten smoked twice, but I thought he played pretty good.
Yeah, Anderson won both the games that were played in Staples Center this year.
No, maybe that's it.
And he also won another game that was back at the pond. So he went 3-0 against the Kings this year.
Maybe that's all.
But Hiller also went 1-0-1, one with a 9-round shootout loss and a shutout in Dodger Stadium. So I don't know. I don't know. It's I just think it's unnecessary. I thought if they lost tonight, sure, you put in Anderson in the next game. Or if Hiller looked particularly bad, but he hasn't looked bad. So.
Well, maybe it's just one of we're going to hit so-and-so. The guy that rides the bench is going to bat 5th today because he's really good against this particular pitcher. Maybe it's just one of those deals.
If they were going to do that, they would have done it at the start of the series, I think. But I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where you got to change something up, but I don't think the goaltender.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the problem is that we haven't been able to score goals.
It seems a little panicky to me, just a little.
Well, I mean, I know we're making moves in the regular part of the lineup, putting in.
I'm getting San Jose Shark vibes, honestly. From that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was wrong of the Sharks to go to their backup then. If it works, then obviously all the criticism goes away, and Anderson's going to be in the net until we lose the series. But I don't know. I don't like that. You shouldn't be changing back and forth goaltenders as this much in the playoffs.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Anything else on the hockey, guys? Or do we want to move on to?
Maple Leafs extend Randy Carlyle.
Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you, Mike. How's Randy Carlyle's world?
Randy Carlyle's world is great. Mm-hmm. Apparently, MLSC decided to blame his assistants for the 9-game skid that cost him a playoff berth. Randy Carlyle is getting an extension through 2016-2017, and then everyone else on the coaching staff was fired.
Oh, I'm looking at it right here. Maple Leafs extend Carlyle, fire 3 assistants.
I have a question though, because this is my question with the Maple Leafs. I think. Yeah, Carlisle's style is not the best, and he can be a little grating. But do you think that do you have a certain expectation level for the Maple Leafs? My question is, do you think that the expectation for the Maple Leafs, based on how much talent is actually on the team, do you think the expectations are too high? That they're asking for too much out of a group that may not have it?
I definitely think that is a possibility. But then again, Carlisle, shortened season or not, Carlisle coached this team to their first playoff berth in what had then been 9 years. Mm-hmm. So, and they were riding pretty comfortably in a playoff spot for most of the season until it all fell apart at the end. And I think if you're Maple Leafs management, you look at this and say, well, he got us to the playoffs last season, and then this season, surely that 9-game skid was an aberration.
Right.
So you think that the amount of talent, or honestly the lack of talent on the Leafs roster aside, Carlisle's probably gotten as much out of them as anyone could. And so that's why I can't be too terribly upset that they extended his contract, because honestly, I think he's done as well as anyone could do, and he's probably the best option available anyway.
Yeah, I know a couple other Leafs fans on Facebook, and I think they're overreacting. Carlisle can be grating, like I said, but I don't think he's been
No. John Tortorella is
oh
great.
My God, we got to get him out. And it's only a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
and so you get another year with him. They could very easily not sign him. They could easily dismiss him after next year if it doesn't work out again.
I mean, honestly, between a playoff series that almost saw them go on to the second round of that late game collapse, but got into the playoffs and sort of exceeded expectations, especially when you consider the team's record against Boston that year. But kind of exceeded expectations that first season. Second season, we're probably talking about a playoff berth if that 9-game skid doesn't happen, and you got to think that's an aberration. So honestly, I think he's earned at least a couple more years to see what he can do with this group of guys before we blow it all up again.
No, I was going to just throw that in. I mean, a 9-game skid. How much of that can you blame on a coach? Or
wasn't it the goaltending that just kind of fell apart in that skid too?
Well, what happened is that as much as I like James Reimer, he's really not your solid number one guy. Bernier was the better option all year, and 3 games into that 9-game skid, he gets hurt. And so you have to rely on Reimer, and he just didn't have it in him. And really, once that skid hit say 6 games, you could see that the team in general just gave up. Mm-hmm. And maybe that falls on coaching, but another way to look at that though is you can have the best coach in the world, but if the guys are just completely disheartened, then there's very little you can do. It was just honestly, I think it was just a bad aberration, at least as of now. And I don't think that 9-game skid is enough to say, get out. Again, this Maple Leafs team isn't incredibly talented. They're not Pittsburgh or Chicago or Boston or Anaheim or Los Angeles, where you just have a roster full of really exceptional talent. The Maple Leafs aren't that. And Carlisle's gotten way more out of them than I think anyone else has been able to since the days of Pat Quinn. So keep him around a couple more years, see what else he can do, and then go from there. I'm not too upset about it.
Yeah. I do have one more hockey thing.
Okay.
And this is an issue that's coming up in a lot of sports, whether it's the NFL or hockey, when it comes to concussions and the protocols taken to protect the players. And so recently there was a lawsuit filed against the NHL by players again. I think this is the third lawsuit that's been filed against the NHL. And the reasoning is something along the lines of that the NHL has failed to put in a suitable protocol to prevent concussions or to treat concussions, and thus leading to brain damage for the players, right? But something came out of Columbus this week, Greg, where James Wisniewski, late in Game 6, he got hit into the boards, and he came out of the game. But and this is what he said. It was a big hit, and he looked pretty shaken up in the play. But this is what he said with Aaron Portzline of the Columbus Dispatch. My head didn't feel great in Game 6. I said my back hurt, so I didn't have to do the 20-minute concussion protocol and go through that whole concussion process. I didn't feel like going in and talking to the doctors for 20 minutes. So, and then he goes on to say something about, guys playing through injuries because that's playoff hockey. But playing with like a separated shoulder or a fractured foot, different than playing with a squished brain.
Yeah, I mean, a separated shoulder, you're still going to be able to remember that injury in 5 years.
Right. And so the issue is, the players, the people that end up suing the NHL say the NHL hasn't done enough to put the protocols in place. But when they do put the protocols in place, the players, a hockey player's natural instinct is to say, no, I'm not hurt, and just try to keep playing.
Yeah. I mean,
but if that's the case, then you have crap like this.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like they have the proper protocol in place. It's just up to the players to obey it. And if they're not going to, there's nothing you can do, I guess.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
It's the same thing you see in the NFL. With Robert Griffin III a couple years back in that playoff game where he probably ruined his career. Mike Shanahan. You have like one of the most respected athlete physicians in the planet saying he shouldn't play. Well, then Mike Shanahan asks him, "Hey, can you play?" He's like, "Oh, I'm good to go, coach." And then we see what happens. It's not a hockey thing per se. It's just honestly athletes not knowing what's best for themselves.
Well, I think too that we talked about Ryan Getzlaf. His chin got cut off and he sewed it back on. That's just I think the perception of a hockey player is that they're just that tough, and the fans aren't the only ones that think that. I don't think. I think the players feel that way too. And Wisniewski's like, hey. It's it's playoff hockey. I'm going to play, and he knows if he goes in and it says I've got a concussion, they treat him differently. Maybe he doesn't take the ice. I just think that athletes, in particular, and hockey players in general, are just they're tough. They're hockey players. They're not going to if he can say he hurt his back instead of his head. That's what he's going to do. So it's a tough spot to be in if you're the NHL because you've got the protocols. You want to do the right thing, but if the players don't cooperate, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly.
And, I mean, Ryan Getzlaf, you have a cut across your chin. Okay, yeah, that might be horrific, but that's not a scrambled brain.
No, I understand.
You didn't get concussion from it.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we joke about it. He's a hockey player. He sewed his chin back on. And I think that, that's the way they look at it, too. They're tough. They're hockey players. And, like, James Wisniewski's like, look, man, if I say my brain scrambled, I might not be able to get back out on the ice. And I'm a hockey player. I've got to be out there. It's the playoffs for my team, blah, blah, blah. So, like you said, if the players don't cooperate, there's not a whole hell of a lot the NHL can do about it.
Yeah.
You can't force the issue. What are you supposed to do?
Exactly. Well, no, that's it. That's what it is. It's the players are going to play, and so the teams and the doctors have to be a little bit more forceful. And
I love the attitude. I think it's great, but I also think that they've got to be smart enough to understand that we like watching them play, and maybe it might be time to admit it when your brain gets scrambled. I don't know, but
we'll see what happens if James Wisniewski has issues later on in his career.
I'm assuming he's not part of the lawsuit. I'm guessing, right?
No, well, they're former players. Is the lawsuit?
Is Eric Lindros in there?
Well, I don't know, but the lawsuit that I mentioned
probably.
Was had a lot of issues in it, like saying Gordie Howe was dead from a brain injury, except it was his wife who died of a brain disease, not Gordie Howe.
Close enough.
So
it's the law. It's not like you got to be specific about things. You just get close. That's good enough.
Yeah.
It's only a court of law, okay? No reason to get specific.
You get close. You're in the vicinity. Good enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Right.
But anyway, so do we want to move on to the Johnny Manziel watch, guys?
We can.
He's still not been taken?
He's still. Let me check. I haven't looked.
He's not.
He has not been taken. The Cowboys took. We thought maybe he would go to the Cowboys, and they took Zach Martin, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So let's talk some NFL draft. We'll move on to that. Let's move along to the Johnny Manziel watch here. And as of pick number 16, he has not been drafted yet.
No, he is not.
And we've got Ravens, Jets, Dolphins, Cardinals, Eagles, Packers, Chiefs, Bengals, Chargers, and Browns. Does he make it all the way to 26 to the Cleveland Browns, you think?
I think somebody's got to trade up. If somebody wants him, somebody's going to trade up. The Ravens don't need him because, they have an elite quarterback.
They have Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Elite. Joey Flacco.
Jets don't need him because they picked a quarterback last year, and now they also got Michael Vick. The Dolphins, they got Ryan Tannehill. The Cardinals would be interesting.
Yeah.
They could use him.
They're currently
use him.
they're currently using a slightly not yet worn down Carson Palmer.
I can see the Cardinals take, but you know what though? Quarterbacks we have left on the board. Okay, Teddy Bridgewater's still there.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater has surprisingly a lot of people's estimations slipped all the way to the second round.
Yeah, I don't get that. What did he do?
He was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
Until the last couple of weeks. I don't know exactly what people have said wrong about him, but somebody found something that they didn't like and said, no, you're going to slip. I don't think he's even in New York. I don't think he was one of the guys that was invited.
Wow.
Or maybe he declined it. I haven't seen him in the green room. I know they keep showing Manziel, but
what about the Chiefs?
They got Aaron Rodgers, or not Aaron Rodgers, Alex Smith.
Like I said, what about the Chiefs?
I think the only two teams that could get him between now and then are the Cardinals and the Eagles.
I think he's an interesting pick for the Eagles. I really do.
It depends on how committed Chip Kelly is going to be to Nick Foles, because I know there was some speculation that he could be moved.
Right.
They could move him and get Manziel because he's a guy that Chip Kelly could probably do a lot with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't you think Manziel's like a perfect fit for that offense that they run?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I thought that they committed to Nick Foles, and Foles did pretty well with them towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it depends. But then, do the Browns really want Johnny Manziel?
See, that's the thing.
They really want Johnny Manziel?
That was the talk all pre-draft, that the Browns were going to take him at 5, and then they made that deal and dropped down to 9, and then they grabbed the cornerback, or 8, and Justin Gilbert from.
Well, they went to 9, and then they
Right.
traded up to 8 to get Justin Gilbert from Oklahoma State, the cornerback. Yeah.
Either they really don't want him as much as all the draft experts think they did, or they're pretty well convinced that he's going to make it all the way to 26, and they're not worried about it.
Well, but the thing is, say the Browns don't pick him, he's not going in the first round.
No.
The Saints aren't going to get him. The Panthers won't. Patriots won't. The Niners won't. The Broncos won't. Maybe the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't see it.
They're going to plan for
Post Peyton Manning, yeah, but I don't know that. I don't know. I think if he slips past the Browns, he might. We're looking at middle of the second round, probably. Interesting, but yeah, I don't think the Browns want him as much as everybody thought they did, because they've had multiple chances to grab him, and they don't seem to be too concerned about it.
No, but you know what? I think that's probably best.
Yeah, I do too.
Johnny Manziel, I think he can succeed in the league, but he has to go to somewhere like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Or honestly, even Arizona. I think with the talent that Arizona has at wide receiver, he could be useful for the Cardinals. You know what? I might be able to talk myself into him going to the Cardinals in the next 10 minutes.
I would say, I'll tell you what, I know they've got Nick Foles and they're supposedly committed to him and all that, but man, if I'm Chip Kelly and I'm that Eagles front office, that is really an intriguing move to make.
Yeah,
because
see, the thing is with some of these teams here towards the back end, you get in a spot where they weren't expecting Johnny Manziel to be there for them to pick.
Exactly.
So now it's an extra question mark that goes into the war room. Like, well, Manziel's there. I know we need this outside linebacker, but this Johnny Manziel kid. So I don't know. Let's look at the rest of the draft, though. Because I'm sure Johnny will be picked here. Hopefully he gets picked while we're recording. Because, that would be...
Yeah, well, the Ravens just picked up C.J. Mosley from Alabama, so the Jets are on the clock.
Yes. Let's see. You know what? This draft has been boring. Everyone's making kind of the right safe pick.
I'm a little surprised that Blake Bortles went 3 to the Jaguars. Not that it was a bad pick for the Jaguars. I just,
But that's it. That's it, though. Blake Bortles may be a little high, but that's the guy who the Jaguars need.
Yeah.
They need a new quarterback. Blake Bortles is a good stand-up quarterback. He's not Johnny Manziel, but he'd probably do better for the Jaguars than Johnny Manziel would, just basically based on a style of offense and kind of a more
he's
scheme.
The prototypical NFL quarterback.
Right.
He's tall and pocket passer the whole bit, but
I don't know. It's a dumpster fire in Jacksonville. I almost have to think that any young quarterback who goes there is just going to be ruined.
See, I thought. I mean, I know that they didn't play well last year, but I really thought they were headed in the right direction. I think that and I can't ever remember his name, their head coach, but I thought he really
Gus Bradley
really had them pointed in the right direction. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
With Jadeveon Clowney going number 1 overall, Jadeveon Clowney probably was the guy. Probably the guy that should have been picked number 1 overall. It's the safe pick for number 1 overall. It's the right pick for number 1 overall. But what is it the right pick for Houston? I don't think that's not what they needed. If anything, Houston should have traded out of the pick, to be perfectly honest.
I think they wanted to, and I think they were just asking too much. But this is what I'd heard.
It's kind of the same story as when they last had the number 1 overall pick, and they went with Mario Williams over Reggie Bush. Was Mario Williams a good defensive end? Yeah, he's a very good defensive end. But is he the guy that's gonna reinvigorate the turnaround of a franchise? No. And I mean, you look at the Texans' defensive line as it stands. They were pretty good as it was. They didn't really need Jadeveon Clowney down there with J.J. Watt and company.
No, but you think about that defensive line now when you've got Watt and Clowney. I mean, that's pretty good.
No, it's good.
I also have to think that the NFL's reputation as being a copycat league is once again catching up with them. You see Seattle win off the back of a monster defense, and now it's just completely overvalued all defensive prospects out there. So everyone's going to try to do what Seattle did and get a good defense on the cheap.
Well, you see, now, I'd read a couple places where some people were saying this was the best draft they'd ever seen. I am not getting that feeling from this.
No. I mean, there's a lot of very good players. Guys that are going to be very useful.
The one that Ryan Leaf was in wasn't the best draft of all time? That class of all time? Come on.
But there's a lot of good players here, but there's no one that jumps off the page at me that I would say, yeah, wow, that's just a great guy to get. I just... It's very solid. It's probably deep, but I don't think it's a draft full of franchise players or anything.
No, but that's the other thing is sometimes you'll never be able to tell until they get in the league.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at these guys. Jadeveon Clowney safe. Greg Robinson offensive tackle. It's what the Rams needed.
Yeah.
But again, it's an offensive tackle. Safe pick.
See, I don't know though. I mean, with the Rams, I mean, they really going to try to ride out Sam Bradford one more time?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They have
about
a
that.
lot of money invested in them. I mean,
that's
kind
the
of
problem.
Yeah,
is the money.
They kind of have to try to get as much out of them as they can.
Yep.
Sammy Watkins to Buffalo. That might be interesting.
I think that's a great pick.
I do too.
Good for Buffalo to move up and get him. And back-to-back years they go to the ACC in the first round, and they get their quarterback for the future, E.J. Manuel, who looked pretty good last year when he wasn't injured. And now they get somebody for him to throw to with Sammy Watkins, go along with another Clemson Tiger in the backfield with C.J. Spiller.
Yeah.
And I think they got a lot going for them in Buffalo. I really like the plan and kind of the line that the Buffalo Bills are taking right now.
Yeah, I do too. I thought it was a really good pick, and it's just I'm just surprised. I guess the conventional wisdom was either Manziel would go top 10 or second round, and not a whole lot in between. So it's a curious draft. Who's left out there that quarterback wise? You got Teddy Bridgewater, which somebody's going to get a steal, I think, in the second or third round with that guy.
Yeah, you got Bridgewater, Derek Carr,
right?
Johnny Manziel. A lot of people have been talking up Jimmy Garoppolo out of Eastern Illinois. AJ McCarron, the perennial winner from Alabama.
Yeah,
probably not the best NFL prospect.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be a bad project if you could pick him up fifth round maybe or something like that.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, once we get past those first couple guys, Bridgewater, Carr, Manziel, then you start to dig a little deep. Some of these guys were decent in college, like Zach Mettenberger, Taj Boyd, but they're not. They're not NFL towers.
I thought I just heard something about Manziel on there, but see, he's the talk of the draft, which
I think he's the only guy left in the green room.
He's doing the Aaron Rodgers plummet right now.
Yeah.
Which I guarantee you that every Packers fan in the world is thank God that Aaron Rodgers fell like that. But see, that's the thing, though, back when Rodgers was drafted, the talk, was, oh, my God, look at him, drop. But he wasn't that highly touted coming out of college. He was kind of like a Manziel, like you either loved him or you didn't. He had supposedly a weird throwing motion and all that, so I don't know. Maybe.
But see, I think stuff like that just comes out only because people spend so much time.
I know.
Like going over these guys and over these guys. I mean, I saw plenty of Aaron Rodgers in the Pac-10, and he was a good quarterback. He was a very good quarterback. Those duels with Matt Leinart and USC, those were great games, high scoring games. And I always thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be pretty good, so I was surprised that he fell as far as he did. But good for him. He fell to an advantageous situation.
He really did.
It kind of goes back to what you said before we started recording, Greg. These people who kind of overanalyze the draft, it's all just a bunch of chimps masturbating.
In a cage.
Like,
it does get ridiculous.
Mock drafts that come out
Oh,
now,
my God.
It's just insane. Because not only do you have your mock draft, but twice a week, everyone's updating their mock drafts. From the end of the Super Bowl to draft day, people... Mm-hmm. Every single prominent NFL personality puts out their mock draft, and they rehash it and go back and forth. And it's so stupid as we get as close to the draft as you get, because you get to a point where people just start making the crazy picks because they want people to click on their article.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, because the thing that always bothers me is when people predict trades. Totally, yeah. The Giants are going to trade up to 4 and pick Johnny Manziel. Like, no one is going to do that.
Well, I was thinking about this earlier when it came on. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. The NFL and the draft has become this giant, huge thing. Oh, here's the Jet selection. Calvin Pryor. Don't even know who that is. But anyway, it gets so completely out
of Louisville.
It gets so completely out of hand that it's just draft, and then I thought about it. I'm like, and I'll be watching every damn minute of it as much as
this guy was in the green room.
Was
I feel bad for the rest of these guys that were selected to go to the green room. I don't even know. I literally thought Manziel was the last guy in there because all these other guys are not being shown. But
yeah, the mock drafts are ridiculous, especially when you're updating it every other day. I mean,
yeah, no, when you're updating it every other day, I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're overanalyzing the data to the point that, well, I hate to use a colorful metaphor, but you're looking for fiber in your own feces.
Exactly.
I mean, it just becomes like, God damn it, just enough already. I mean, there are sports podcasts I listen to that I have fast forwarded through the first half of the shows these past 2 weeks because the first half is literally every host giving their mock draft, and I honestly don't see any value in those discussions. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, I think
what's the point? What is the point?
They're going to get this linebacker. Really? You think so? Why? What does it matter? It doesn't matter what you're saying right now. It depends on who they pick.
And I mean, you have these so-called experts. Like before the show started, we were looking over at Peter King's mock draft, and Peter King's supposed to be one of the foremost experts on when it comes to the NFL.
Right.
None of these guys are right.
He's like the Peter Gammons of football.
But he
was way off the mark.
So he was way off the mark. So if you own just your little own fan-maintained football website, why should I give a crap about your mock draft when the guy who supposedly knows what he's talking about can't even get it right?
He missed on so many. I mean, I don't think he even got one right at this point. Well, I'll take that back. He got St. Louis and Greg Robinson right at the second pick. After that, he had Khalil Mack going number 1. He got Robinson right. He had Sammy Watkins 3 to Jacksonville, Jadeveon Clowney 4 to Atlanta, Jake Matthews to Texas. The Browns taking Mike Evans, Johnny Manziel to Tampa. I mean, he couldn't have been more wrong. A chimp pulling names out of a hat would have done just as well as he did.
No, exactly, and that's my problem with this whole mock draft phenomenon. When it comes down to it, nobody knows. So,
right.
Is it just a massive? Maybe it's an American thing. Maybe I'm too Canadian to get the appeal of the mock draft, but I just don't understand. I just don't understand what the appeal is of just essentially making, at best, educated guesses, and at worst, just sort of blind picks that a monkey could do, really.
Well, I see now, Mike, I live in the heart of American football here in the Midwest, and I'm with you. I don't get it either. Because, like you said, it's basically, if we took let's say, the top 30 players and gave them to a chimp and mixed them up in a hat, I don't know that he'd do a whole lot worse. It's just
exactly.
It's just getting ridiculous. But here's my thing.
And the other part is some of these people don't even. They say that they're experts on all these guys. There's no way that they watched all these guys play in college.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I watched tape and I watched
Khalil Mack, the guy that the Raiders drafted. He played for the University of Buffalo.
Right.
I mean, they ended up making a bowl game, but how many people are taking time out of their day I got to watch this Khalil Mack at Buffalo? He's going to be a really good NFL linebacker. No.
Not only that, but you can't discount the fact that he played in the MAC, which it's a fine mid-major conference, but let's be honest about it. The competition level is not the same as, say, the SEC or even the Big Ten, for that matter.
He played against the Big Ten. He played against Ohio State and apparently gave him fits this year.
Well, good. I mean, I'm not trying to knock the guy. I'm just saying, but, there's just...
but that's the thing. You don't know. I don't know. They don't know.
I watch tape. I mean, that's like me saying, well, I can do brain surgery because I've watched tape. Come on. You're a writer. You're not a football coach. You don't know. It just drives me nuts, the whole thing. But I'll be glued to it just like everyone else is,
I just don't. I just don't understand. If a chimp picking things at random could do just as good a job predicting things as the experts can, then I don't see the point of the exercise.
Well, we used to make a game out of it when I was on the radio in New York. We would Mel Kiper, and he was the quote unquote draft expert back then. And it was a game. How many will he get wrong? And usually, unless you were picking about 75% wrong, you weren't going to win the contest because he was terrible. He'd be like, this is, the big board. That's the one that drives me the most nuts. On my big board, I've got blah, blah, blah. What the hell's a big board? I don't even get it. But it's just, the whole thing is just absurd. But I just wonder if these teams, the question I've been trying to get to is, do these teams overanalyze it to the point where they might screw themselves out of a good pick?
Definitely. Again, it kind of goes back to, you hear how much time in the office a head coach is expected to put in.
Yeah.
And you got to think, even during the off season, if you're a head coach and you're in the office and you're supposed to be preparing for the draft, if the expectation is that you stay in the office for, say, 15 hours, well, eventually you're just going to say, well, I guess I might as well just look at this stuff for 15 hours and see what happens. And you just overthink. You start overthinking things. You start noticing stupid little flaws or stupid little tendencies that probably honestly don't mean anything, but you're there for another 10 hours, so you might as well note everything down and overanalyze it all.
Well, that's the thing. With Teddy Bridgewater is a good example. Not last year, but the year before. What was he a senior this year? Or did he junior? I don't remember.
Who, Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Junior.
Well, whatever. His season before that, he was like, this guy's. Everyone's like, this guy's going to be the number one pick in the draft when he's eligible. And so, of course, everybody goes and they start looking at him and analyzing Teddy Bridgewater. The next thing you know, here we are, a year later, and they're like, well, maybe third round. What the hell happened? I mean, granted, maybe his team didn't perform as well and stuff or whatever, but he's pretty much the same player, right?
What happened was a bunch of people with nothing better to do basically poured over every second of game film they had on him and started noticing insignificant little things that they could dock against him. And it happens every year where supposed guys who are locked for the top three, it's like, oh, well, we noticed, like on the 58th viewing of this game, we noticed this, and so that's going to knock him down a couple spots. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, you're really overthinking it.
We saw it with Aaron Rodgers back then. You know, he was a guy, and so many teams talked themselves out of a quarterback that turns out to be, I would say, is at least in the top 10 in the league at this point. Maybe top 5.
I'd say top 5 in the league.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think you analyze it to the point. I think the draft used to be like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, back before it became this big thing.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to continue to be in the second week of May, or is
they reorganized the league year. So the beginning of the league year is the draft. When they turn everything over, they change the books and all that sort of stuff. So it's now going to be in May rather than back in April like it used to be.
Yeah.
So now there's even more time for more mock drafts.
Right.
Oh god.
More overanalyzing.
And I just don't get it. Didn't Pete Rozelle, when they first went to him to talk about televising the draft, didn't he go like what?
Motherfucker!
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I guess the Kings scored a goal.
No, they didn't score, but the Ducks almost scored. Yeah, punch Jonathan Quick in the face.
If it'll help, you know.
But yeah.
You're now going to get random intermittents of shit. Fuck. So,
but yes, Mike, when Pete Rozelle was presented with the idea by ESPN of televising the draft, he's like, who's going to watch? I mean, can you imagine now? Huh?
Plenty of people.
Yeah. But it's just like, the thought was no one would watch this, but look at it now. Now you see baseball trying to, they televise their draft, which is ridiculous because there's any sport where you never know what's a sure thing and what isn't. It's baseball, but
the baseball draft is the most.
It's absurd.
People say the NFL draft is an inaccurate science.
Oh.
The MLB draft is even worse.
Yeah,
there are guys that obviously guys like Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg, Ken Griffey Jr. Sure, that they're going to be good, but come on, outside of like the phenom that you've heard about for 10 years. Who else do you know in the baseball draft?
Do you guys remember a guy? You probably don't. He played for the Mets. I can't even remember his name anymore. But he was one of these surefire, can't miss, going to be a big leaguer, and he never amounted to anything. I mean, he played maybe 5-6 seasons, but he was a 240 hitter, maybe 10, 15 home runs in a good season. Can't even remember his name now. There was a guy with the Yankees, Brian Taylor, a left-handed pitcher, got this huge amount of money as a first-round pick, went out and broke his shoulder. Mm-hmm. It's just baseball. It's ridiculous.
There's plenty of stories like that.
Yeah,
guys that get signed, they get their signing bonus because they draft them out of high school, and then they blow out an elbow.
Right.
In single A rookie ball, that's the MLB draft is a joke.
Oh yeah, and for them to televise it, it's just stupid.
It's on MLB Network, right?
Yeah. I get what they're trying to do. Look, we're as big as the NFL. I mean, God, believe me, no one wishes that were true more than I do, but you're not. And the MLB draft is it's a ridiculous waste of time to televise it because, first off, no one follows high school baseball or college baseball to the point where anyone's going to – I mean, I don't even know who these guys are, And
Greg watches the World Baseball Classic. People,
I do, man. And I watch the minor league all-star games and everything.
It's not even regular college. There's a lot of community college guys that get picked, So
right.
It's just that. I mean, that's a joke. The NHL draft is a little bit better. I mean, obviously, I don't get to watch junior hockey, so I don't know too much about them. But the NHL is actually
pretty super.
Well, the NHL's actually done a pretty good job recently of putting stuff up on their website, like with kind of. So often they'll put up the videos of the top prospects, like down in junior. They'll put like whoever people think are the top 10 guys in junior hockey, or who are the top 10 North American prospects. And you see some video and you'll hear stuff about them. And maybe it's because I follow the game probably more than some people do, but I know who some of these guys are, at least when they get drafted. But
yeah, I mean, that's
outside of like outside of the first round, I don't know a whole lot after that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's a really big name prospect like a Bryce Harper or someone, I'll hear about it in baseball, but I couldn't tell you who the 10th pick, whoever that's going to be, who they're going to get. Right. I just want to throw this in, too. Manziel's not going to be going to the Cardinals at 20 because they just traded the pick to the Saints.
Oh, did they?
Yes. So
maybe he's going to New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, he'd be
Drew
a good
Brees is really slumping here, guys.
I will say this. I'm really happy with my Cleveland Browns that they traded down and picked up some more picks because God knows they're going to need them, like you said, Zach, but they didn't do something stupid.
They got what, a first round next year, too?
A first and a fourth next year, yeah.
Yeah. And so Buffalo will be better next year, but they're not going to be demonstrably better. So it's going to be a decent pick.
Right.
So who's the Colts pick of the first round, Zach?
Trent Richardson. I mean, if you ask, somebody asked Trent Richardson about that, and no joke, he said that, he feels that he's the Colts' first round pick this year.
Wow. Well, it's nice to know.
That's the attitude he's taken towards it.
You have the added benefit of knowing already that your first-round pick's a bust. You don't even have to waste the time waiting to find out.
Yeah.
There you go. That's too bad.
And just a brief update. We're heading to overtime in Boston, Montreal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
What's going on in Ducks Kings, Zach?
It's still 0-0. Freddie Anderson with a couple good saves already.
They're only, it's only 20 after 10, so they just got started.
Well, yeah, they started. Puck drop is at 7:15.
So they're not even barely a couple minutes in then.
Nah.
Okay.
They may be 7 minutes in.
So your sanity will remain intact for a little while longer.
Yeah, a little while, as long as Sammy Votna doesn't turn it over at the blue line anymore. I think Justin Williams not good unless he's standing in the crease.
So how you holding up, Mike? I know you don't feel well tonight.
I'm doing all right.
It's those tragically Canadian sensibilities. He's going to power through it.
He's a hockey player.
Exactly. I'm just going to power through it.
Are you sure it's a cold, Mike? Are you sure it's not a concussion? You can tell us.
You know what? I actually wouldn't mind a concussion at this point because this is just absolutely awful. I've gone through 5 boxes of tissue paper over the past week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, how long have you been sick now?
Since Sunday.
Let's see. So today's Thursday. You still got about 4 days to go.
Well,
you'll feel a little bit better progressively, but yeah. You should be good to go just in time to go back to work on Monday.
Oh, I'm yay.
How much longer do you guys have to go? You should be finishing up pretty soon here, huh?
Finals reviews start next week, so.
All right.
Yeah. I've got 2 weeks of class and then 1 week of finals.
Have you decided where you're going to college yet?
I'm waiting for some decisions to come back.
Okay. Who's your front runner right now?
I'm on the wait list at Long Beach.
Okay.
So supposedly I'm supposed to know that by the end of the month. If enough people I had to pause because there was a tip. If enough people declined so that I get to take their spot instead. The wait list is the horrible thing. And then I still got applications out to University of Oregon. Yeah!
Yeah, go Ducks!
On the board, Corey Perry.
Oh, those
Welcome
Ducks.
to the series. Yeah.
All right.
As I'm talking about the Oregon Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks score.
Yeah, it was kind of okay.
And it's a power play.
So you can get some duck synergy going.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to send another application to Arizona State.
Jawan James. Anybody know who he is?
Nope. I know he's an offensive tackle.
Tennessee.
He's on the screen.
His grade is a 5.7. Now, who's doing these grades?
I don't know. Okay.
And what does 5.7 mean?
Well, poor Kyle Fuller doesn't even. He's got a grade but no video.
Okay, Mike. Since I assume you haven't seen the name yet.
Okay.
Tell me how you want to spell Jawan.
Jawan. If I had to guess, if I was going to spell Jawan, I'd spell Juwan.
Oh, you're way off, my friend.
J-A,
way off.
Apostrophe.
Okay. Capital W.
Capital W. UAN.
Well, that's just silly.
I want to know why there aren't any Jatims or Jabobs or just Scotts. Come on. I'm just saying.
And that.
I mean, we're still waiting for the drafting of Clayton Dix. safety out of Alabama.
Oh God, Gary Bettman's at the Bruins-Canadiens game.
Oh,
Well, he was at the Ducks King. I saw Gary Bettman
in person.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a.
Could you smell the sulfur and brimstone?
He's really tiny.
Oh.
He's very small.
He's a very small Jewish man.
He is a very small Jewish man. And the Saints traded up to get the number 20 pick, and they pick Brandon Cooks, wide receiver out of Oregon State.
Interesting.
But yeah, the Ducks just opened up this thing called the Grand Terrace. It's this like kind of bar restaurant area that they added up. They put an extension on the front of the building, and so underneath is where the new team store is, and another restaurant, and this little party area that they have before the games. And then on top of it, there's this outdoor pavilion thing with a couple outside bars, some TVs to watch the other games, inside bar. Anyway, my grandpa decided to check it out because we student season ticket holders, so we paid for it, and so we have this little bar area that we go to before every game. We get a couple drinks, get a pizza, which are actually pretty decent. Oh, it's overly priced, some of this crap, but
of course.
Hey. But yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm just drinking a beer, I was watching the Penguins-Rangers game, and I look to my left, and I see this little entourage, and I'm like, I wonder who that is. And I see a tiny Count Chocula-looking guy. And I'm like, hey, that's Gary Bettman. And I saw him, and Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley, and a couple other NHL executives. They were just checking out Game 2 of Ducks Kings.
I'm going to use Count Chocula as the picture for this week's show.
I don't say he looks like Count Chocula. He looks like a Dracula type.
Okay.
You could put him in like a cape and frills on it, and
I think I would have yelled, "Jim Balsillie says hi."
I don't get it. Help me.
Hey, it's the owner of the Phoenix Coyotes.
Oh,
Jim Balsillie. Jim Balsillie is the guy who owns BlackBerry, who tried to buy his way. He got rid of it?
He cashed out as things were going poorly.
Is BlackBerry even a thing anymore?
It is.
Them, yes.
Because
in fact, I am living in the city that BlackBerry calls home, Waterloo, Ontario.
Ah, cool.
So,
hey, by the way, Greg.
Yes.
We're at the Packers pick, so as the owner, what's your executive decision for who they're going to pick here at 21?
I think they should pick someone from the University of Toledo.
Okay.
Just so the poor bastard can know what it feels like to wear a good-looking football uniform. That is my position from the ownership box here at Packers Central.
Carlos Hyde's available.
You should call your guys on the floor and tell them to get on that.
You know what? I would not pick especially Carlos Hyde. I'm not picking a running back in the first round ever again. If Trent Richardson didn't teach everybody their lesson, then I don't know what to tell them.
I don't believe there has been a running back selected yet. No,
and that's weird because it used to
Carlos
be that
Hyde's number 6 on Mel Kiper's best available list, so he could go in this first round.
Who's on Kiper's number 1 best available list? Manziel. Okay.
Yeah.
What pick are we at now? We're at
pick number 21.
21. Wow.
Green Bay Packers.
Well, I'll tell you, unless the Eagles pull, and I don't think they're going to, but if they don't pull the trigger on Manziel, he's probably going to be there if the Browns want him at 26.
Or the Cardinals at 27.
Yeah. I don't know. Do the Browns, do they go quarterback? They need one.
Well, the other thing is Teddy Bridgewater is actually in the green room. He's there, too.
I take Bridgewater over Manziel, and here's why. I just think that in the conditions that he'd have to play in here, I don't know that Manziel's style is going to suit him well in November and December in Cleveland. And I just think he's going to be that good. Maybe the Packers take Manziel. That'd be wild, wouldn't it?
Someone get Kevin Costner on the phone and see what he thinks.
Has anyone seen that movie?
No.
No. Why would I go see that movie?
I don't know. It's a sports movie.
I was actually considering
I'll see it on cable in a month.
You know what?
I'll see it on an airplane in like a month.
Yeah, I'll wait for it to come out on DVD and just go get it at the Red Box for $1. But go ahead, Mike.
I was actually going to say I was actually considering it at one point, and then I checked the movie times, and it just wasn't convenient that day. So I was like, I'll catch it this weekend. And then by the time the weekend came around, it was out of theaters.
Well, see, here's my thing, okay? As a Browns fan, I'm not terribly interested in it. Why would I think that anyone else would want to watch it?
Do you think Crash Davis would be a better GM than Mike Lombardi?
Probably better than Mike Lombardi, but who's the new guy? Ray Farmer?
No, oh, that's right. Lombardi resigned. I forgot.
Yeah, he got resigned. Yeah.
That's
right. The Browns hit the
forgot
reset
how much
button.
of a dumpster fire the Browns were.
Yeah.
They hit the reset. They hit the reset button just after hitting the reset button. It was pretty humorous.
Well, yeah, you just keep hitting it, and eventually something good will happen if you just keep hitting that sucker every chance you get. But wow, come on, Packers, let's move. This thing takes too damn long. This draft.
I'm sure the teams don't want it to go this long either.
Yeah.
It's funny in the later rounds when nobody's actually watching, and they make all the picks like 3 minutes. They seem to get their choices done pretty fast then.
Yep.
I don't know why we need, 10 minutes for each pick?
Yeah, because it's the first round and it's important. Well, it used to be 15.
I know. Well, I know, and it's a good thing that they changed that because people complained enough about it then.
Anyway, I was going to say a movie I just watched, finally got around to watching, was Django Unchained the other day.
Oh, yeah? What'd you think?
I thought it was great, except that I really thought that the use of the N-word was
Boston scored in one.
Oh, did they?
Oh.
How quickly into overtime was that?
I'm not sure. Hang on.
Yeah, it'll get to me in about 20 minutes. They're just coming down the ice now. Let's see. Boom, bang. Nope, that's a rebound. Okay, hold on. Off the boards.
Yeah, because I took that. I can only have so many things open at one time, so I put the Ducks game on TV and the draft on my computer. I guess I could have had 2 games going on my computer, but
there's still game's still going here. Oh, they're going to score. Here it comes. Yep, there it is. And I did not see who scored it.
18. Less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, let's see. Mel Kiper's best available right now. Johnny Manziel. Darqueze Dennard, cornerback out of Michigan State. HaHa Clayton Dix, safety out of Alabama. Derek Carr, quarterback Fresno State. Marquise Lee, wide receiver out of USC.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he's a pretty good player.
Django Unchained
Probably got a little run into the ground by Lane Kiffin, but
Yeah. Anyway, back to Django Unchained. I just thought the use of the N-word was a little much. You could have had the same movie and made the same point without the gratuitous use of it. It was, I think, I saw on.
Have you ever? Are you familiar with Mr. Tarantino's work?
I absolutely am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me, but I also think that I think there's a point. I mean, I understand now. Granted, this wasn't like a docudrama. I mean, it was kind of historically accurate, but kind of not. But. Oh, the Packers pick is in, but I just think it was a little much, and I understand his work and all that, but
interesting thing, the whole Mandingo fighting thing, which is pretty much the crux of the movie.
Right.
There is no historical evidence of that ever happened.
Well, I was reading up on that, and that's because with all the money they had invested, why would they, have their slaves beat each other half to death, or to death for that matter?
No, exactly. A lot of rich Southern plantations had their wealth almost entirely tied up in slaves, and it's not good for your capital if your slaves are, beating each other to the point of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, but no, there is absolutely.
It'd be like if you worked in an office and every Friday you had to battle an intern.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's absolutely
Packers
no
select. HaHa Clinton Dix.
Hey, all right.
HaHa.
He's going to love those Januaries up in Green Bay, let me tell you. Yep, there he is.
Alabama to Green Bay.
But guys, in honor of the draft, I want to announce to the world my favorite draft pick of any sport.
Okay.
Oh.
It was a Buffalo Sabres pick in the 1974 NHL draft.
All right.
In the 11th round, Taro
the Japanese league.
From the Japanese Hockey League.
the Tokyo Katanas.
Taro Tajamoto.
Awesome.
Taro Tsujimoto. By the way, a person that did not exist. For whatever reason, the owner of the Sabres had some issue with the commissioner, I think it was.
No, basically.
And so to piss him off, they drafted a made-up player.
What it was that all the drafting was done in secret via telephone to keep the identity of picks away from the WHA at the time.
Oh, okay.
and it was just really slow and tedious. And then we got into like the 11th round, and the Sabres were like, "This is goddamn ridiculous. Let's just." So we draft this fictional Japanese player, and the NHL wrote it.
Pick up the Tokyo Katanas.
Yeah,
awesome.
If that didn't set. And they put it in, and somebody brilliantly a few years ago made the Taro Tsujimoto hockey card. One of the companies, they actually made a Buffalo Sabres card for him.
Cool.
It's just some random guy in the picture, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Well, the Eagles are now on the clock, guys. So we'll see.
This thing is taking far too long.
I know it is. There was a movie I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was now.
Draft day?
No, it's screw draft day. Like I said, I mean, if Browns fans didn't want to go see it, why would anybody else?
Invincible? I'm trying to think of football movies. Remember the Titans?
Did you guys see Invincible? I thought it was all right, but...
I never saw it.
I thought it was pretty good. But I also like Mark Wahlberg a lot. So
yeah, I do too. I remember when that guy played. What was his name in real life?
Holly?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you know what this is like completely off on a tangent, but remember the movie The Rookie with Dennis Quaid? I accidentally, just by complete random chance, happened to be watching the night that guy made his major league debut, and they talked about him being, what was he, 39 or whatever. Yeah. So when I watched the movie, I'm like, wait a minute, I remember this. I saw this guy do this, but...
Oh, yeah, I did see that years and years and years ago. He ends up playing for the Devil Rays, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to commercial.
I love that. That movie always gets me.
What, The Rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Best sports movie.
Like, I mean, my favorite one of the more iconic scenes, he goes out to the highway.
Yeah.
The speedometer thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Throws the baseball. It only says like 65. He's like, well, guess I don't have it. Walks away and it flickers to 85 or whatever it was.
95.
That was right. 95. Yeah. That's right.
Well, he ended up pitching, I think, for a couple of years. So he picked up, probably $800,000 to $1 million for playing for those couple of years. Not bad.
Yeah.
For a guy that was a high school teacher. I guess,
of course, guys like that, when you go back to your normal life, you're going to use your money a little bit more wisely than some guys would.
You would hope, yeah. I think he's not an inspirational speaker. What do they call him? Like a corporate? Those guys that go out and do like the corporate speaking bit or whatever. Yeah, I think he does that now. But
hey, that's actually a pretty decent gig if you can get it.
Absolutely, yeah. You can pick up $10-12 a night doing that shit. But we have completely gone right off the rails, haven't we?
Colleges. Well, it's a couple of things. We're like stalling for the draft.
Right.
It's taking forever. And there's not a whole lot of real sports to talk about. We talked about hockey. We talked about the draft. I have tabs. Do we want to go to my tabs?
Sure.
Yes, coming up, folks, Zach's tabs. We're back live because the Browns have traded up with the Eagles. So let's see.
Traded up. Could this be?
This could be it.
Who are the Fighting Costners going with?
This is the big trade that Kevin Costner pulled off in the movie.
Is it? I guess. I don't know.
Trade.
Who did he pick in the movie? Like, I didn't even. Does anyone know?
Some Japanese guy from
the Japanese Football League.
The Tokyo
Blues.
All right. As the pick in
is walking to the podium.
Okay, here we go. Because I don't want to get up and move because I don't want my microphone to screw up again. Hold on.
The Browns, the 22nd pick. The Cleveland Browns select
Johnny Manziel. All right.
There he is.
They got him after all. They did some wheeling and dealing, put themselves in a better position, and still got the guy they wanted.
Did they really need to trade up?
I don't know.
Honestly, I think they might have because, like, if us three yahoos can see that Manziel would have been a good fit in Philadelphia, then surely someone else behind the scenes was whispering about that.
And it's like what they traded for him. I gotta find what they traded for him just now.
A bag of footballs?
No. I mean, it was draft picks.
They threw some teas in too. Come on.
Browns from Eagles.
I don't know how I feel about this. I
Johnny Manziel is a Cleveland Brown, Greg. Is this going to bring you back?
Depends on the uniforms. I'm sticking around for another year, but once those uniforms come down the pike, man, and it's going to be...
You know what the fun part is, though? You know that guy that has the jersey with the list of quarterback names?
Yeah.
Gets to add one more line.
Well, let's not forget about Vince Young. And
by the way, he looks thrilled to be a Cleveland Brown. Oh, and he walks on stage and gives the money sign. What a grade A douche. I'm going to love watching him in this league.
You know what? He's a grade A douche, but I absolutely love him. It's just fantastic.
He is fun.
So you're being sarcastic when you say he looks thrilled, right?
No, he looked like he was sad. Or not sad, but he was very serious, like, okay, I got drafted. Walk on the stage. All right. Oh, the cameras are on me now. Smile. Everybody smile. We're on camera. Okay, great.
See, I don't think he wants to play in Cleveland, but...
Does anyone really want to play Cleveland? Just yeah. I'm sorry, Greg. But
over
really?
under on the amount of sacks that he's going to take this season.
Over under?
Yeah.
What's the record?
What's the record?
And then add 5.
Give me the record plus 5. He's a pretty good scrambler. Wow. I don't know.
Who are the wide receivers that he has?
Oh, he's got, what's his name? Gordon. Okay, and there's Gordon. And
I think
got a couple.
Tim.
Is Mohamed Massaquoi still there?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he?
I just don't know that. God,
Tim used to sell insurance, down the road, and then, they needed a receiver, so
I guess if you're gonna,
the tight end, Jordan Cameron,
right? If you're gonna have to get a quarterback, you might as well get one that's good at running for his life. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, they picked up a cornerback you've never heard of,
right?
And Johnny Manziel,
yeah,
in the first round. So, by the way, the Colts have picked Johnny Manziel and given him to the Browns
for Trent Richardson.
Well, yeah, but the Colts still have Andrew Luck, so I
think we're okay.
You want to give me Andrew Luck? You can have Manziel, Richardson, and I'll even throw in one of the wide receivers.
Yeah,
I don't know about this. Well, number 2 jerseys will be back on the market.
Yes, who was the previous Cleveland Brown number 2?
That would have been Tim Couch.
Well, you know what's so perfect? I mean, he's a Cleveland Brown, so his number's got to be number 2.
And he...
it's a poop joke.
Oh, God.
It's a poop joke.
Anyway.
Are you super excited for what's sure to be a graphite and neon orange jersey in 2 years?
I mean, especially now that they have Johnny Manziel, they've got to go all out with these uniforms.
Oh, no.
I mean, look at him in these all-white Texas A&M jerseys. You're going to have 7 different uniform options.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, no, it's the NFL. They don't allow you to have any fun with uniforms. I forgot.
Now, just watch, though. I'm telling you, the helmet is it's gonna be the Jaguars fade, but they're gonna add one more color. It's gonna start off white.
Can you change the name to the Cleveland Johnnies?
And then it's gonna fade into orange, and then it's gonna fade into brown, and the Nike bullshit will be the Browns are emerging from their past to the future.
Here's what I want. Okay. Here's what I want. I will tweet the minute I see the first Johnny Manziel jersey around here. I'm going to say that it will be within 10 days.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw one tomorrow.
That could be.
Are you going to go out for dinner tonight? I'm sure there might be one outside.
There's going to be a lot of people really excited about this pick, but
Cleveland radio tomorrow should be fun.
Oh God, I can't listen to it. No,
you can't do Cleveland sports radio.
No, it's like if I was at the dentist's office and I'd be like, turn this off because I'd rather
I don't know, guys. He's not from Cleveland. Does he know what it's like to play for the Browns?
Does he know what it takes to be a Cleveland Brown?
I don't know.
It doesn't.
That's going to be one of my glorious tournament of victory entries next year. The number of times Johnny Manziel gets sacked.
25 Johnny Manziel sacks.
Right, exactly.
A bag of broken light bulbs.
I want to see how quickly the Cleveland media turns on him because the minute he does something douchey, they're going to eat him alive.
No. Who's the backup?
Does his act play well with the Midwestern sensibilities?
No. Everybody here wants an Aaron Rodgers type guy, especially if he can grow that mustache.
First, Greg, he has to win the job from Brian Hoyer in camp.
Well, you got Brian Hoyer, and don't forget Vince Young and Tyler Thigpen, too.
Oh, yeah, Vince Young and Tyler Thigpen.
Right. There's some fierce quarterback competition going to be taking place in Berea this year at the training camp.
Vince Young is still in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, he got picked up by the Browns. Texas A&M versus Texas.
Ooh.
Quarterback. And
a little what the hell am I looking for? A little storyline there, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
so the Red Blacks.
Yes, it's the Lincoln comment I posted to the Ottawa Red Blacks uniform unveiling.
Let's see.
Oh, they did those horrible pants stripes. No.
It's wait for it. Oh,
where's the helmet?
Ottawa. Such a missed opportunity.
Yep.
Okay, if you're going to name yourself the Red... Here, hold on. If you're going to name yourselves the Red Blacks, put some more red in your jerseys.
Yeah, not a whole lot of red going on there, is there?
I see a lot of black.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Blacks.
The best was Henry Burris, quarterback for the Red Blacks, who compared...
Oh, they have a white helmet also. That's great.
Henry Burris compared the Red Blacks coming to Ottawa to the Jets coming back to Winnipeg.
Well, of course, right?
Hey, when I went to the Ducks Senators game, the 1975 CFL Grey Cup champion Ottawa Renegades were there.
Rough Riders,
whatever.
Whatever.
It's Canadian football. They all start with R's, right?
Yep, and some things I don't like about this. They're going for those stupid Broncos pant stripes, Falcons Broncos pant stripes.
Yeah.
Not enough red. Missed opportunity with the plaid.
I hate that little notch in the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers aren't that great, and this whole home and away helmet thing in the CFL is getting pretty old. Fast.
See, now I like that. I wish the NFL did that. I really do.
But obviously, if you use more than one helmet, you're more prone to concussions.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they don't care about that in Canada.
Use a helmet that hasn't been crushed in as much as the other one.
Right. And in Canada, they don't care about. Canada has no concern for the players' health. Come on.
Nope.
That's why they do this.
Okay, but seriously, how badass would a jersey be if you take even the same jersey that's there right now?
Okay.
And you change the sleeves to red and black flannel.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Missed opportunity, but by not capitalizing on the plaid.
First, you're going to call yourselves the Red Blacks and have a monochrome black uniform.
Right.
Like that's just egregious. Yeah.
Yep.
To me, if you're going to go with a name like the Red Blacks, which I like, I'm on record as saying I like the name. I don't
probably have equal red and black.
That first off, absolutely,
Yeah.
And secondly, I don't know that with to me, Red Blacks sounds like an old school simple name. I don't think you can do the modern uniform bit with the Red Blacks. Why? I don't know, but it just sounds good. But
no, I'm in agreement with that.
I mean, I just think
the CFL loves itself some side panels, doesn't
it?
it?
Well, yeah. Well, welcome to 1993, guys, or 95, whenever the Broncos debuted these things.
Okay, you have to understand. We are about at best 5 years behind trends in the United States. So,
well, you guys are going to love Facebook when it gets there.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, these are just. I mean, I would have had no problem with the simple, but missed opportunity definitely. And if half of your name is red, don't you think that at least half of your uniform should be red?
Like the only red that's on there is on the number on the black jersey,
right?
And then
the trim,
the trim,
yeah,
on
that's
the
it.
Panels. That's it.
And the helmet, oh, the road, was it the road helmet? Is that the white? Did they do the white on the road up there too, Mike?
Yeah.
I do not see any red on the road helmet at all. Now, I don't have a close-up shot of it.
I'm sure it's in the logo.
But,
And also, CFL teams seem deathly afraid of helmet stripes these days.
Yeah, what about that?
I have no idea.
Hell, put a plaid stripe on the helmet.
This is
Go all out! Come on, Ottawa. What are you?
Yeah, these are a disappointment.
It's Reebok.
Is Reebok still doing?
Yeah, Reebok's
CFL?
supply. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, these are huge. I mean, come on, and the white jersey should have. If they're going to do the stupid panel thing, make it red. You know, come on. I'm sorry.
At least red numbers.
Yeah, disappointed.
Yeah.
But I think that the road and home helmet thing's cool. I wish the NFL would do it. It'd be awesome.
It's a fine concept. I just, it's a missed opportunity. Hell, Red Sox. You could have done Red Sox.
They don't even have red socks.
No, they're all black.
No,
Their
sorry.
home uniform for the Red Blacks is monochrome black.
Yeah.
Black helmet, black face mask, black jersey, black pants, black socks.
That black monochrome is going to look terrible.
They look like a high school team.
Yep.
Especially with the R on the helmet. They're a high school team. I've seen this uniform 1,000 times.
But it's in a buzzsaw.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, I'm disappointed. I was all over that name. I thought it was because it was just cool. It was stupid. It made no sense. And they blow it with the uniforms. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I'm disappointed. I'm not. But, go Tiger Cats. Woo.
So we've got Johnny Manziel's a Cleveland Brown. We don't like the Ottawa Red Blacks. Should we move on to what? The NBA? Zach's Tabs? Where are we going next?
Let's do NBA just to finish off the first round.
And a show that is laser focused tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
We got a lot of things. Okay, look,
NBA.
We praised the first round. It was a bunch of good games until the ends of all those series came. And the status quo held.
Yeah, pretty much.
Held it. And now with the way these games have started in the second round, it looks like more of the same again.
Well, who won between the Thunder won last night, right?
Yeah,
the Thunder won the second game against the Clippers. But I expect that the way to be the series to go, that the Thunder are going to probably beat the Clippers.
Roy Hibbert did show up last night, folks.
Roy Hibbert did show up. And the Pacers tied their series.
Yeah.
One game apiece, losing the first game again. But I still think that the Pacers are probably going to outlast that one. Miami's still clearly better than Brooklyn, and they're up 2-0 in that series.
Miami's on cruise control right now. They're just
the Spurs won their first game against Portland, and they're up 70-51 at half.
They're dominating the Trailblazers.
Yeah, they're up 70-51 at halftime in Game 2, so I expect that to go the same. And you know what? Just based on everything that I've seen from these games, it's going to be Miami and the Spurs again in the finals, isn't it?
Yep, that's what I think.
Isn't it? Because Miami's on cruise control. The Spurs are on cruise control. The Thunder can be discombobulated at times, and I know that's not going to work against even if the Clippers were to beat the Thunder. I don't think the Clippers are beating the Spurs.
No, because the Spurs they're
a well-oiled machine.
They're a machine. They're a boring, well-oiled machine. They just work.
The Pacers are just more talented than Washington. Will probably outlast them.
Right,
but they're not put together well enough right now to beat Miami. I don't think.
Nope.
And then we're going to have Miami Spurs again, and Miami's going to go for its third straight title. So
yep.
And
happy days are here again. The dynasties are back.
As Zach said, Tony Parker and Tim Duncan could be like 70.
Yeah,
I thought they were 70.
I wanted to bring this up. Where did it go? Anyway, keep talking. I'll find it in a second.
I just want to say that we had a glimmer of hope in the first round, only to find out that the more things change, the more they stay the same in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Here's a fun fact about Tim Duncan. This thing was posted up this week. Tim Duncan has played in more playoff games than 13 NBA franchises.
Oh, God.
Would you like to name the 13 NBA franchises?
Toronto's on there.
Has played more games.
Okay,
Toronto Raptors are one of them.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
The
Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks, no. Remember, the Bucks used to be really good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and then they had Kareem in the early 70s.
Right.
So,
For
Los Angeles Clippers.
Clippers have to be.
Tim Duncan has played 219 playoff games.
Los Angeles Clippers.
Clippers got to be on
Los
that
Angeles
list.
Clippers are on there as well. Yeah, 3 of the 13 so far.
Atlanta Hawks.
Nope.
No?
No.
The Nets.
The Brooklyn, New Jersey Nets, indeed.
Did I say the Cavaliers?
Yes, you said the Cavs.
Let's see here. The Golden State Warriors.
No.
No.
Remember, the Warriors also used to be very good.
Oh, that's right. Well, let me think. Who's been terrible forever?
Well, think of the young teams first. You can
okay. Well, we'll get it. Okay, Orlando.
Oh, Orlando.
Charlotte.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, and actually the graphic I have actually has them listed as the Hornets. so it's already begun.
The Pelicans.
Pelicans.
Let's see.
Vancouver.
Oh, the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Think
of, you already said Orlando. Who was their other friend in the
Miami
Florida expansion? Yep. Miami.
Let's see, you wouldn't think of that with Miami and what'll be now 4 championships after
right,
this
but
one.
I mean, really, they've only been this good over the last 5 or 6 years. I guess 10 if you want to go back to the first championship.
13 teams?
13. We've said Raptors, Magic, Pelicans, Heat, Clippers, Grizzlies, Nets, Hornets, and Cavs. That is 9. So we're missing 4.
Let's see. Oklahoma City.
No, because they used to be the Sonics.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Sacramento.
Sacramento Kings. That's number 10. 3 more.
Detroit?
Nope.
No, because Detroit's been around forever.
Yep. Think Texas.
The Mavs?
Dallas Mavericks.
What about the Rockets?
Rockets? Nope. There's 2
the Suns?
No. Let's see. The one used to be...
The Nuggets?
Nope.
No?
One of these teams has changed its name in the course of its history.
Okay. The Jazz?
Nope. No, not location. Team name. Well, they actually changed their location and their team name, but it was only maybe a 20-mile drive down the road.
Oh God! Help me out here, Mike.
I'm drawing
red, white, and blue.
The Capitals or the Capitals?
The Bullets.
The Bullets. The Wizards.
The Wizard Bullets. Yep. And the last team, expansion team. When did they come in? I guess in the late '80s. I think.
Expansion team.
Kevin Garnett used to play there.
Oh, the Timberwolves. Okay. You see, I forgot they even existed.
Yeah, so Tim Duncan has played more games than Toronto, Sacramento, Brooklyn, Washington, Minnesota, Orlando, New Orleans, the Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies, Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks, and Cleveland Cavaliers.
The Cavaliers should be embarrassed because they've been around since, 1971, I think? 73, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the teams that have been around the longest on this list are the Clippers and the Cavs. And the Clippers, I understand because they've been abjectly terrible.
Yeah, but the Cavs.
But you know what? The one that actually surprises me is the Nets, because when they were the New York Nets, they were.
That was the ABA. Do they count ABA games? That's the difference. You see.
I guess that's the difference there.
Yeah, but the Cavs were decent in the 70s. They were really good in the 80s, and then they had the LeBron era. I mean, I guess I can see where that wouldn't add up to 219 games.
Yeah.
That's kind of shameful, though. But I understand with the younger teams, it's just the way it's going to work out. But that's the Spurs, man.
That's the Spurs.
And they'll go to the finals. They'll lose to Miami in 6 or 7, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
Do we even need to talk NBA anymore after today?
You know, probably not. It's really sad that's what it's
well, they teased us in the first round. And the sad part about it is that Donald Sterling ruined the first round. But we thought for a second there was hope, but it's just the power balancing we've always talked about.
I'm pulling for Oklahoma now at this point.
Let's see. I want Indiana to win it, but Indiana.
I'm pulling for an Indianapolis-Oklahoma final.
That'd be awesome. Oh, my God.
It would be awesome, but could you imagine the ratings? Oh, that would
be terrible.
Yeah.
They'd be terrible.
So it's not going to happen because, the NBA is crooked.
Well, if the NBA were crooked, then the Heat would have won the last 2. Wait a minute. That's exactly what happened. But,
Raptors get screwed.
Oh, that was a clean block. Come on.
Oh, no.
It was.
No.
Plus, you really think that the new NBA commissioner, what's his name, Adam Silver,
yeah.
You really think he's going to let a Toronto, Canada team beat a team that's based in New York City? Come on. That's not going to happen.
The Northern Uprising is dead.
Yeah, well, the fifth line is packed away and go wherever fifth lines go in hockey. So, what's next, Zach?
What's next?
Yes. First off, let's get an update on the game, on your game.
Oh, it's we're at the intermission.
Okay.
It's 1-0 Ducks.
Well, see now we can blow through the tabs here, and you can watch the rest of the game in peace.
I can.
All right. So what's up? What's up?
I'm gonna close the draft window because
Yeah, because the Browns picked like an hour ago, and we're only 2 picks later.
Yeah. Okay, let's start.
Oh, Mike, you want to know who the Chargers picked?
Oh, tell me.
Jason Verrett, cornerback, Texas Christian University.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. All right.
Okay, well, speaking of the draft,
I just want to really quick. I want to say, folks, we tried with the draft, but it just moves too slow for our rapid pace.
that's fine. We got the big guys out of the way. Teddy Bridgewater, maybe he gets picked today. Probably not. Probably tomorrow. Speaking of the draft, there's actually been some draft news here in Orange County.
Uh-oh.
Actually, some controversy at Corona Del Mar High School.
No.
Some juniors and seniors have participated in the last few. I think it sounds like this has been something that's happened the last few years. Maybe it's just this year. But the group of senior and junior boys and girls created a prom draft.
I don't see this going poorly at all.
The boys would pull draft numbers out of a hat and would select their prom dates draft style.
Awesome.
I don't see a problem with this at all.
This is great.
I thought when I first saw it, I'm like, that's hilarious. Why didn't I think about that in high school? And of course, you think about it a little bit further. You're like, well, that's not exactly good to some of the girls who may not get picked. And I guess there's been there's controversy that this thing even happened. But I guess somebody did some reporting on it. Some of the boys were saying that there's been some or some of the girls were saying there was controversy because some of the boys weren't just picking junior or senior girls. Some of them were picking sophomore girls.
Well, come on, guys. You got to keep it. There are rules. You got to keep it in the rules.
So they were trying to get these girls to declare early, basically.
Yes. Yes. The details were all discussed on Twitter, urging girls to dress nice before the draft.
Oh, my God.
Congratulate the boys on each of their selections.
Wait. How did they determine the draft order?
Numbers out of a hat.
Oh, because honestly, would it not be the greatest thing in the world? Who had the ugliest girl from last year gets to pick first this year?
Oh, God. This
is something that's been going on. Okay, so last year,
this has good idea written all over it.
Boys involved in the draft released a statement to the blog, CoronaDelMarToday.com. The boys stated the girls were never ranked, and anyone who was left out of the draft was ineligible to attend anyway, perhaps because they already had a date.
Oh.
The purpose of the draft was not to rank girls, but rather to prevent the confusion and conflict that occurs when two people attempt to select the same date.
So trying to impose a little order on chaos, right?
Yes.
Well, not bad.
This just has
said some things like
Come on, Mike. Be honest. You know that you're going to go right to work Monday and go, hey, look, I heard this great idea.
No.
All right.
No. This sounds like a bad idea written all over.
High school girls have fragile psyches as it is.
Yeah.
Last in the prom draft.
Oh, this is going to be terrible. This is just a terrible, terrible idea.
Or if for whatever reason the least desirable guy
picks number one,
then he gets to pick the hottest girl.
That might work better.
Let's be honest. The worst teams always get the first overall pick. So shouldn't they pick like the AV science nerd?
Yeah, you want to be if you got in this draft and it was actually ranked by performance, you would want to be kind of in the middle so that you could get somebody that's right along your level.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to be either picking way out of your league or picking way below your league.
Right.
And it's just not going to work.
Come on. There's nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea.
But oh, God.
I'm kidding.
Getting drafted for the prom wasn't a big deal. Her boyfriend, a junior, is friends with the rest of the guys who participated in it.
Yeah, what if these girls have boyfriends? I'm sure these boys have girlfriends.
The draft hasn't always been controversial. For several years now, groups of juniors and seniors have participated in the tradition, which was complete with an official commissioner and jerseys with the girls' last names on them.
Oh, see, I was going to say that that they come out and hand them their dress that they're going to wear at the draft.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you get picked to be prom draft commissioner? How does that?
You're probably the guy that's going without a date.
God,
because you got to be impartial, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a matter of time before Sabermetrics runs this thing.
Oh, God.
She had a really high usage rate this year.
Oh, God.
Her WAR is outstanding.
Oh.
And if you want to talk about her BABIP, oh, man.
Oh. Oh, God.
You know,
They
but
should televise this. This I would watch.
Low. Yeah. So, Corona Del Mar High School. It's a bunch of rich kids outside of Newport Beach.
This is exactly
that's where you can expect this comes from.
This is exactly what I expect from a high school named Corona.
Ah, well done, Mike. Well done.
It's Crown of the Sea.
I know, but when I hear Corona, I just think
I got it. I got where you were
Their
going.
mascot is the Sea Kings. Played against them many times in high school.
So they're the Crown of the Sea Kings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to. Okay, the Angels of Anaheim.
It's the city of the Angels of the City of Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe I read an article today. Maybe soon the Los Angeles Angels of Tustin, Los Angeles Angels of Irvine.
God,
Do those strike you? Anyway, well, that's not neither here nor there yet. Again, speaking of the draft, apparently Brett Favre is now doing video blogs online, ranking draft prospects.
Because
Brett Favre doing anything involving video or pictures has always worked out so well.
It's what are these rated?
Here's a link to the video if you ever feel like watching it. It's not too insightful. It's just funny to see him sitting on what looks like to be a couch in his living room with a sleeveless T-shirt on.
Oh, God. Beard. So it's basically Brett Favre on an afternoon where he has nothing better to do.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's doing it for some websites called Score, which is SQOR.
That's got quality written all over it.
Wouldn't that be Score?
Well, there's no U.
Yeah, but
it's a hard Q.
It's
a hard Q.
It's a hard Q.
Okay.
We talked about our favorite football team, the Los Angeles Kiss.
Yeah.
Greg, they've announced their bobblehead series.
All right. It's about time.
So here you go. The list of 4 Kiss bobbleheads. First 10,000 in attendance receive a bobblehead. One for each of the members of Kiss.
Of course.
Which, of course, makes no sense because only 2 of the members of Kiss are actually manning this thing. But
yeah, but you've got to have 4. The band is, even though only 2 guys own it, the band is a part of it. Wow, these are pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty low grade. And, of course, they had to save Paul and Gene for the last ones.
Of course.
And Gene, of course, going to be the most popular, has still yet to be determined as to which game he's actually going to be released at. So.
But the LA Kiss are the official football team of basically a sports show.
And the official band.
Yes. They should pay us. But if we say that too, if they find out, they'll charge us money for this. I promise you.
We mentioned Donald Sterling a little offhand a minute ago. He's still a part of the news, unfortunately. And Tommy Lasorda is coming to his defense.
Oh, my God.
He was saying, trying to defend him against the things that his mistress, V. Stiviano.
Does that V stand for anything?
It's supposedly, but her name is V. Stiviano.
Okay.
That's what she's called. And Tommy Lasorda said in an interview with an ABC affiliate in Florida, said, "I've been a friend of that guy's for 30 years. It doesn't surprise me that he said those things. That doesn't surprise me, and he shouldn't have said it. And he just hurt himself by talking too much and doing things he shouldn't be doing. And I don't wish that girl any bad luck, but I hope she gets hit with a car."
Oh, Tommy.
What?
Tommy.
So wait a minute. I don't. So is he? He's saying he shouldn't have said this stuff.
He shouldn't have said the stuff, but it's the girl's fault.
It's the girl's fault because all right.
Yeah, she shouldn't. She messed up his friend's life by releasing the tape.
But never mind the fact that
knew he was a racist, but
right. I was just going to.
She shouldn't have released the tape saying that he was a racist.
So Tommy Lasorda has been a friend of his for a long time. Tommy Lasorda knows he's a racist, and the problem Tommy Lasorda has is that the girlfriend let everybody else know. Yeah. Well, I should say the 50 people that didn't already know Donald Sterling was a racist have now found out about it, and that's the problem he has with it.
he said right there, it doesn't surprise me that he said that stuff. So I think the Admiral had the best reaction to this. Old Jews and old Italians propping each other up so that they can keep their retrograde opinions about blacks. Tearing down walls and building new ones brings a tear to your eye.
Yeah.
That Admiral's a real poet, isn't he?
Let's go back to hockey for a minute.
All right.
Now, this is something that's weighed on my mind, and I'm sure yours, Mike, for a while. The rule applications in the Mighty Ducks movies.
Oh, you mean how they're non-existent?
Well, yeah. For the longest time, I had thought that the flying V was offsides. I think you had said just as much.
Yep.
Contraire, Michael.
Okay.
Former NHL referee Kerry Fraser had some downtime this week while working for TSN and wrote a very lengthy post where he reviewed some of the egregious moments from the Mighty Ducks and broke down penalties and moments that shouldn't be. But, in the words of Kerry Fraser, upon further review, the Mighty Ducks remained onside as the puck was advanced to Jesse Hall at the front of the Flying V just prior to crossing their attacking blue line. Flying V moved up the ice as Harry Hall, the Mighty Ducks, carried the puck away from a protected, safe, legal position just at the back of the V. Prior to gaining their attacking blue line, the puck was passed through the legs and onto the stick of the lead Duck in the V, Jesse Hall. So
that controversy has been solved.
That controversy has been solved. The Mighty Ducks were indeed onside, and they're coming back against Iceland in the Junior Goodwill games.
And we wondered why Brett Favre was sitting on his couch shooting video.
Sorry, this wasn't against Iceland. This was against the Hawks.
Oh, yeah, the first one. It was just some random generic jerk-ass team.
Right.
Who Coach Bombay had history with. See, I remember that. I remember those movies.
Yes.
Okay, cards on the table. I actually kind of like Mighty Ducks 1 and 3. 2 is just stupid.
2 is, okay, when there's a team from Trinidad and Tobago.
And they have tie-dye uniforms.
Hockey hotbed that they are.
Yes. So.
And apparently playing as the Mighty Ducks is more important than playing as your country.
Exactly. and nobody noticed when they switched goaltenders completely out of each other's gear from a fat black kid to a tiny white girl.
Yeah.
No one noticed.
And then, she skates up to center ice and takes a wrist shot because that's totally something that would not backfire at all.
No. I'm ashamed to say I have not seen any of the Mighty Ducks movies.
Oh, Greg.
I'm sorry.
You have to indulge.
1 and 3 are actually kind of okay as far as corny sports movies go.
But if you're gonna go, you can't just watch 1 and 3. You have to watch all 3 of them.
It is true.
Because
2 does
if
provide.
You don't watch 2, you're gonna be completely lost when 3 comes in.
It does provide
They're
that
all in college. It's like, what, they're at some prep school? Who is this kid? Oh my god.
I'll keep that in mind.
I always thought,
seriously, watch the Mighty Ducks movies.
I always thought 3 was kind of neat because the evil team they were playing against had like a kind of Blackhawks-esque logo.
Oh, the Eden Hall Warriors.
Yeah. So it was kind of like...
And the Ducks were the JV team. But spoiler alert, they challenged them to a game, and the JV Ducks win. So the team is no longer the Eden Hall Warriors. They become the Eden Hall Ducks. And they unveil a recolored Mighty Ducks logo that was similar to... what the Ducks ended up adopting, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
Instead of orange, it's red, but, same idea.
But, yeah, when I watched that movie as a kid, I always kind of thought it was like the Mighty Ducks versus the Blackhawks because, red and black team with an Indian head logo. Whatever. They were the Blackhawks.
Yep. Let's see.
And then Coach Bombay isn't in it. Well, he is.
He's in the third one, but he's not the coach.
They get a new coach who has a problem of Charlie Conway.
Yeah, he thinks Conway's a hot shot. He has to earn the C on his chest.
God.
These are very important things.
I know.
You're not taking this seriously.
Oh, I'm absolutely taking it seriously. That's why I've just stayed out of the way. I've got no place in a debate of this importance, so I'm just going to stay out of it.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Do you know who Darren Ravel is, right?
Yeah.
The sports business reporter?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Generally a wet blanket when it comes to anything.
Yeah. As business reporters want to be, yes.
Well, it also seems that he's kind of a dick.
No.
There was an exchange on Twitter where because Darren Ravel, somebody was making a joke at Darren Ravel's expense because, like I said, he's generally a wet blanket when it comes to anything that's maybe fun or in sports. So somebody put up a thing saying RG3 debuted his new logo, and then somebody replied to him on Twitter, yeah, but Darren Ravel would tell you that a swastika is just a way to build your brand. People forget that.
Ooh.
And so Darren Ravel then responded to that kid a little while later saying, I have forwarded these comments to Charles Shippen at your university.
Wow, what a dick move.
Right. So what Darren Ravel did is he saw this guy's name, saw that he got a PhD from the University of Michigan, and then found the chair of the political science department and just Googled this kid's name or this guy's name and where he was, and then sent emails and through the Public Records Act, Deadspin was able to get the emails of what Darren Ravel. He grabbed the tweets and he sends them to the president of one of the schools at the university. Charles, I just wanted to point out to you one of your students or lecturers made a very offensive comment about swastikas on his Twitter feed. I found this to be reprehensible at best.
Come on. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, here's the link with the email.
I mean, that's just come on. That's just being a dick because somebody made a pretty funny joke about you.
Right,
I think.
and the best part is a couple weeks earlier, Darren Ravel had ESPN suspended him from Twitter for a little while because he made a fat joke about some lady. And so when he finally gets back, somebody makes a joke about him. And
I don't think
take it too well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good shot at him myself, and he's just being a big pansy now.
Yeah,
but
Let's
you all right there, Mike?
You're going to survive to the end of this thing?
That sounded pretty rough, man.
I found the jersey of the Eaton Hall Warriors, and they're less Blackhawks-esque than I remember.
Yeah, they're very black.
All right, well, Zach, let's get through the tabs here so this poor guy can go to bed.
Okay. You know those stupid finger shoes?
Yes.
Those shoes that have individual toes?
Oh, yes. And they are stupid.
They're supposed to strengthen your feet, and a bunch of the people that eat repurposed garbage and kale really enjoy these things.
Okay.
Well, turns out all of that was a lie.
No way.
And the toe shoe person, the guy who owns the company that makes toe shoes, lost a lawsuit saying because somebody did the study, and these things actually don't help you. And so now if you've bought these toe shoes within the last 3 years, you get to get a $94 check mailed to you. So everyone basically saying that, fuck.
Yeah, I could see that.
Damn it.
What happened?
Jeff fucking Carter.
No. Tie game?
Play. Yeah, it's a tie game.
Oh, man.
Why can't we get a 2-goal lead on these jerk-offs?
Like you said, every team's good now.
I know, but...
What was I going to say about the toe shoe
and Gabbert got a fucking assist on it, too.
Of course he did.
Gabbo!
Shut up, Mike. Let's see. The initial claim filed in 2012 accuses Vibram of deceiving customers by saying that its shoes could, quote, reduce foot injuries and strengthen foot muscles.
How?
Apparently, this has been pulled out of completely thin air.
Yeah?
Some scientists did some study, and the study shows that it actually increases in bone marrow edema, which is a precursor to stress fractures, and are more common in subjects who are transitioning to the finger shoes. So they don't actually strengthen your feet like all these people claim.
But they just might break your toes.
They might actually make your feet in worse position.
And that's all aside from the fact that they just look really stupid.
I've never met anyone that wears those things that isn't a weirdo.
I've never met anyone that wears those things, period.
Yeah, they're popular with some of the people out here. Oh, Tamu. Tamu's not fast enough anymore.
Oh.
But yeah,
I've got
to the finger shoes.
One quick thing to throw into the tabs here. Eagles fan attends draft, passes out before Philly even picks.
The NFL draft, nonstop action.
Let's get a quick update on it here.
As people discuss things at board tables.
Let's see.
Let's see, where did we leave off? We left off with Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Chiefs select D. Ford from Auburn. That's actually a pretty good pick for them. I like that. Bengals get cornerback Darqueze Dennard from Michigan State. The Chargers, Jason Verrett, cornerback. The Eagles get Marcus Smith, defensive end out of Louisville. And the Panthers select Kelvin Benjamin, wide receiver from Florida State.
All right.
The Patriots are on the clock.
Wow. You never even think of the Patriots ever drafting, actually.
I know, right?
Trade away other picks, but yeah.
Okay, the last one that I have, just because I thought these were funny. You know how sometimes you'll go into a store and you'll see one of those like knockoff items at the end of the aisle or whatever?
Right.
Yeah.
Where, instead of getting... I think of it more like in the cereals. Like instead of getting Captain Crunch, you get Lieutenant Snap.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Colonel Chomp.
Right, something like that. Well,
I got to tell you, there's actually a company up here that specializes in that. They're called President's Choice.
Yeah.
And they have the generic soda pop.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. They have generic red soda pop, which is generic Coke, and generic blue pop, which is generic Pepsi. They really go the extra mile, and I have to say, I appreciate that.
That's nice.
Well, I'm going to send you a link, and I'm going to go through these with you guys, because I think they're kind of fun. The first one is a little plushie of Fed Up Fowls, which might be
Angry Birds.
I don't know, Angry Birds.
Okay.
Next, Flip Flap Chicken, a.k.a. Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Ah, okay.
Let's see. Is it butter?
I'm going to guess. This is the I can't believe it's not butter.
Right.
Okay.
Instead of Bacardi, you have Bacardoy.
Oh.
I'm really not seeing spelling errors on the label of my alcohol is a red flag to me.
Yeah.
All right, this next one
is American Poop.
Okay.
Oh God, and she's got a. Oh God.
Yeah. 7-Eleven couldn't get the rights to that, so it's 512.
Ooh, this next one's not gonna.
KFC is OFC, and instead of Colonel Sanders as the logo, it's President Obama.
Not cool.
It's let's see, we got a knockoff of Aladdin. It's now Alladin. Alladin.
And the genie looks like
the next one. This next one is absolute perfection. This is beautiful.
It's a little action figure of what appears to be Superman, but the logo would tell you that it's not Superman. It's Special Man.
Special Man.
Oh, God.
Here, come to save the day. It's Special Man. Next, right next to the very same device that it's supposed to go with, or they're supposed to be the Wii Sports.
Right.
They're just wireless sports. A terrible knockoff of the Terminators. Inglourious Bastards 2. Hell's Heroes.
Oh no.
Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story is
his
now,
eyes. Look at his eyes.
Toy Special.
Look at his eyes.
The eyes are going to haunt me for days.
The next one's pretty great too.
And it looks like what's supposed to be an Xbox, but like the original Xbox with the game Batman, but the bat is spelled like B-A-T-T. Man.
And it's a picture from Batman and Robin.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
I think Special Man. Actually, that's going to be our picture for this week. Is Special Man? Yes.
Special Man.
Special Man. That's awesome. Is that it?
Unless you want to talk about the potential number one overall pick in the NHL draft next year, Connor McDavid.
No,
being selected 77th overall in the KHL draft.
No.
Okay.
I don't know anything about either one of those things, so we will save that for next time. How's that?
I'll lose it between now and then.
Okay, well, somebody remind us.
No, don't.
Okay, don't remind us. Anyway, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Go to the website, basicallyasportshow.com. Email, basically a sports show at gmail.com. And you can find us on Facebook. How about that?
we're not going to be able to close out the draft, but the Patriots did make a selection. Dominique Easley.
Okay.
Defensive tackle out of Florida. So, sorry, folks, we're going to end 3 picks short of the end of the first round.
Oh, well. Yeah, because
hopefully the 49ers, Broncos, or Seahawks don't draft the next, Barry Sanders.
Right. Mike, what's coming up on Geek Show this week?
We are going to be talking about primarily the trailer to the new Fox TV show Gotham.
Ugh.
Which is, I guess, they're setting it up to be a prequel to the Ben Affleck Batman series.
I don't think it's supposed to actually be that, though. I hope it's not.
Yeah, it's very confusing what exactly they're trying to do. But
it's supposed to be a show about the Gotham police force and Jim Gordon, but there seems to be a little bit too much of child Bruce Wayne in it.
Yeah, and I don't know how exciting 8-year-old Bruce Wayne will be, but we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the news that Saban Entertainment has teamed up with
Power Rangers.
They've teamed up with Lionsgate Films, and we're getting a rebooted Power Rangers movie.
Power Rangers.
So we're going to
That's my childhood right there.
We're going to talk about Lord Zed and Tommy, Lord Zed and
Z?
Tommy, and I guess Jason and Kimberly and all that stuff. So,
I just please tell me the Yellow Ranger has to be Asian.
And the Black Ranger's going to be a black guy?
It has to be, because that's how it was in the first one.
Yeah.
We can't change that just for political correctness' sake.
I just want to throw in, and I haven't made a reference in a while, but I finally got through season 9 of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm not going to talk about the finale. I just thought it was funny. In one episode, Robin referred to ZZ Top as ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And I thought of this show when she did that.
She's Canadian. That's the joke.
I know.
Yeah.
JZ, owner of the Nets.
Right, exactly. What's the deal with Wolverine being killed off?
They'll kill him in the comics.
How long is that?
I mean, I know he'll come back, but I mean, it's just a publicity stunt, right?
It's the idea is that they're going to. Wolverine's been way overused in the Marvel Universe the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, even I know that, and I don't really follow it that closely.
So the idea is that if they kill him off for like a year or two and then bring him back, they can bring him back with less emphasis on him and sort of get the character back to not being this uber powerful, uber influential guy.
Okay.
I mean, really, on the whole of it, he's just a member of the X-Men.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be Marvel's Batman.
No, and they try to make him Marvel's Batman because he's brooding, I guess, and he has pointy ears on his mask. But so
sorry.
Wolverine's not staying dead. They killed Captain America, and I don't think his death lasted more than 2 years. So.
Yeah, so that's not going to be a big thing.
I was just curious about that, but
Mike, did you like Spider-Man?
Spider-Man 2, I gave my thoughts on basically a geek show, and it's just a quick summary here.
I don't need a quick summary, just yes or no. I don't want to deter people away from your brilliant review in the.
Oh, thank you. Well, basically, it's overwrought and bloated, but it's the best Spider-Man movie, and I had a ton of fun.
So it's a superhero movie.
It is a superhero movie. Yes.
Okay, Mike. But real quick. I don't know what the feeling is on the original Spider-Mans, the Sam Raimi ones.
Oh, they're terrible. I hate them so much.
I thought the first one was okay, but the next two just sucked mightily.
I thought the first one was fine. I thought the second one was really good. The third one had potential, but then they put too much into it again.
In my opinion, the new series, The Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, really exposed the Sam Raimi series as being just the dated kind of garbage that it is, in my opinion.
All right.
I'm not a big fan of the Raimi Spider-Mans. And I say that as someone who's still a fan of Willem Dafoe's portrayal of Norman Osborn.
Right.
Yeah, he's really good.
I actually really liked him in the original Raimi trilogy, but everything else in that movie, like James Franco, oh God, I hate James Franco. And not because he's a villain, I just don't like James Franco, so.
Well.
I just want to punch his face, because James Franco can't act. He can just do that one face where he kind of squints his eyes and grits his teeth a bit.
Well, you could just, from what I understand, he does a lot of selfies. So just, go print one of those out and you can punch out of it if you want to. But
yeah,
I think
I'd recommend
pretty nice.
go see Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's good. Plus, you get to see Jamie Foxx with a really bad comb over.
Yeah, seeing that in the trailers was always the thing that kind of, because I know who Jamie Foxx is. I know what Jamie Foxx does. That doesn't suit him.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is this really cool guy, and then they just like cast him as this ultimate nerd, and it just it kind of reminds me of like back in the 90s when Arnold Schwarzenegger would get like the role as like a scientist, and they'd put glasses and a lab coat on him, and you were supposed to buy him as a scientist.
Like, I don't understand all these molecules.
Yeah, and like
why are the quantum physics? I know.
They've got Jamie Foxx in this movie with this really bad comb over, these really thick glasses, and like this sweater vest deal. And he's just like I. It's like I'm just nerdy Jamie Foxx, and it just doesn't it doesn't work, but it's fine.
All right. Well, we can hear about that and a whole lot more on Basically a Geek Show. So with that, any final thoughts, guys?
I can't wait for the Colts to pick.
That should be sometime next week, right?
Yeah.
When is their first pick anyway? Second?
I think do they have a second round pick? I think we might have. I don't even know if we have a second round pick, to be perfectly honest. I think
they might have picked.
They traded it for Jim Irsay's pills. So
fourth round, maybe I'm thinking is when you guys finally get to pull the trigger.
Oh my God, we don't. No, we're 27th. We're 59th overall pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully we trade up.
With what?
With our third round pick.
Okay.
With Trent Richardson.
Hey guys, look, he's basically our first round pick. He even said so himself.
Like I said, you don't have to wait around to see if he's going to be a bust or not. Okay, on that note,
Jimmy Ward goes to the 49ers, by the way.
Okay, cool.
The Broncos are on the clock.
All right, and
maybe they'll draft a center who can, not throw it over Peyton Manning's head.
And with that, we're going to call it a night. We will see you all next time right here on Basically a Sports Show.
Bye-bye. Go Ducks.
Go. Screw Boston.
Go Habs, go.
Something like that.
Please hang up and try again.